You should know that the north is the realm of black magicians, evil, like Angelina. The west is the spirit.
Hi, Keithanthony. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was just watching the same video. Was that sound of the video? Was that coming from your? I don't think it's open on the page.
That's Vince. I'm into the 20th minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's about how much I watch. It's pretty provocative, isn't it?
Yeah, shame there's no pictures on it.
Well, there's a PDF at the bottom of it that you're supposed to kind of watch while you. I didn't use it at first, but I looked through it a little bit while ago. Let me run upstairs to get a shirt. I'll be right back.
Hold on, my microphone's not working.
Okay.
Why isn't my microphone working?
I didn't have my headphones on. You know, I can't hear that good. What'd you say, sir?
I'm just saying my microphone isn't working. I've got this latest version of Skype. It never selects the correct microphone.
Okay, I can hear your voice, and so that means it's going to be recorded good. And as soon as I put my shirt on, I'm going to put on my headphones. But I mean, I can hear your voice, so we're getting a good signals on it. And
yeah.
After I put on my shirt, I'll check the level meter just to double check it. It's underwear.
Oh, man. What if?
Yeah, I gotta get my box to put the laptop on so it'll be higher.
Okay.
Okay. That should be a little bit better there.
Yeah. How's my exposure? Do I look okay?
Yeah, your lighting looks good, and it looks like you've got a new haircut. Is that right?
No, I need to get a haircut. It's getting a bit long.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Whatever you do, don't upgrade to the new Skype. It's terrible. You've got no features at all. Stick on the old Skype.
Okay, I will. I don't think that they've prompted me to yet, but
But don't accept the new Skype because it takes away all the features. You've got nothing at all with the new Skype except crap.
That's terrible. You know,
every time that it starts up, it turns off my broadcast mic and I have to reselect it.
So you have to go to the settings every time just to make it work, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you using your broadcast mic right now, or are you using your onboard mic?
No, I've got this one, but every time I turn on Skype, I have to select this.
Huh. Well, I'm hoping, I've got a third-party recording software, and it's prompting me for an update, and I wonder if I accept it, if it's going to try to update Skype for me or something. I hope it doesn't. Don't,
because it's crappy. You can't, no, if with the old Skype, you can put in your website and your name and your address and everything else. You can't do anything like that with new Skype. It's just stripped it all away.
Do you think it has anything to do with these new, computer laws or censoring people on YouTube?
I think it's to do with control. They just want to have maximum control. That's all it is.
I think you're right because, they probably still have those features, but now they want you to pay for them or something.
Yeah, probably.
Bastards. Now, Keith, I just got some bad news, and that is a good friend of mine has come down with cancer.
That's me.
Oh, that was you? Okay. When did you get diagnosed?
Well, I knew I had it because I've known I've had it for a long time because I've been getting symptoms like urinating blood and blood in my semen.
Huh.
But
now, have you been diagnosed?
I've been talking to the doctor about it for ages, but last Wednesday I took a sample of urine to my doctor and she said, "This is the first time you've mentioned it to me, Mr. Taylor." I said, "What are you talking about? I had an endoscopy a month ago and I've got to go back in at the end of the month for a follow-up." I said, "I didn't know about that, Mr." I said, "Don't you keep records?"
You mean
I've got a letter here. This is my follow-up for the endoscopy.
Does an endoscopy mean that they stick something in your body?
No, they put a camera down your throat.
Oh, okay.
Now tomorrow I've got to have a camera put up the end of my penis.
Have you been diagnosed with the cancer yet?
Well, the letter that I've got here says that where is it? It says that's the gastroenterology one. What's this one? Oh, this one here says I've got bladder hematuria. Hematuria means cancer. I don't know why they don't just write cancer.
Is that just a fancy word for cancer?
Yes. Oh well. So what the hell? I know I've got cancer. I mean, the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, I understand. So
I've been getting so many symptoms. Like cramps in the rectum, cramps in the abdomen, a lot of pain everywhere. And I've been telling my doctor about this for months and months and months, and she's been fucking me about. Are we recording, by the way? Because I'm using all these bad words.
Let me tell you, anytime we're on Skype, we're always recording. But I'm, of course, not. This is all going to be edited out.
Yeah, okay. And it's been, and if I have got, and it's only because I've been doing positive thinking and healing techniques on myself, I'm still here, because they've been doing everything they can to kill me, which is always the way with the National Health Service.
It sounds like it, and that would be, the cosmic irony is that you're able to do healing work on others, but somehow unable to do it on yourself. You've mentioned that.
I think I do it on myself, because when I heal other people, when you do healing on other people, you've got to channel it through yourself to put it into them, and you get healed yourself. Because what I say is that what you put out, you get back. If you do bad stuff to people, you get bad stuff. That's why I don't do bad stuff to people.
Good call.
And so I mean, I always say if you're going through hell, keep going. And then you don't pick up all the shit, do you?
Pick up all what shit?
If you're going through hell, keep going. That way you don't pick up all the shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I'm helping people, very often they're in hell. They're in a bad place. And sometimes I just have to go in there to bring them out. So I don't hang about in there. I go out there and bring them out. I don't want to pick up that stuff.
Exactly. I've often wondered about the dangers of that as far as healing, because you're if these diseases or chronic diseases aren't all physical, if there's somehow an astral, I think it's an etheric relationship.
Well, I think the diseases attack the body. They're a physical thing, but your spirit is pure. It's untouchable. It's incorruptible. That's what I believe. And intention, in my view, is everything. If your intention is weak, you're going to get, let's put this politely, mucked up, shall we say, polite version. And so your intention is everything. You have to set the intention, and then you're okay. That's what I believe. Whether or not I'm right or not remains to be seen, but it seems to have served me well.
So is your mind, do you have the conviction and intent to heal yourself and make it through this bout with cancer?
Yeah, well, there's no way I'm going to have chemotherapy and radiation therapy, because the thing I've noticed about those is people are dead when they've had chemotherapy and radiation therapy. So they say, if you check the statistics, you'll find that only 5% of the people who've had chemo and radiation live for another 5 years. But what you'll find is that if you did nothing, they'd have lived for another 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad, oh God dang it, my dad, he died of cancer, and he, of course he did that chemo, I think, one time, and then he said, fuck it, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah. If you have chemo, it destroys your immune system. And when you've got cancer, that's the one time you need your immune system.
I know, and it's like opposite day or something in the medical industry. Everything's just the opposite of what it should be.
Yeah, but when you've got a cancer, the thing we do is we fight the cancer. Uh-huh. But what we need to do is we need to get in harmony with the cancer. It's a part of us. It's supposed to be there. And it's just that it's a cell that's gone wrong. So what we need to do, instead of fighting it, we need to harmonize with it. And because it's just a cell that's got confused and doesn't know what it's doing, so what we need to do is to get into harmony with it. We need to nurture it and love it like the rest of us. Like when this arm of mine was giving me a lot of pain, I put up with it with a lot of years. And then I talked to a friend of mine who's very good at healing, and he gave me some tips, and I put those into action, and I just started talking to this arm, and I said to the arm, I'm sorry, I've been neglecting you, and I said, would you like to come back on board and become a part of me again? And the pain just went away, and because I had arthritis in this shoulder, I couldn't do this. And I just started talking to the arm and nurturing it and harmonizing with it and forgiving it and asking it if it would forgive me and invite it. I invited it to become a part of me again, because there was two entities. There was this arm and there was me, and we were separate. So I just asked the spirit of this arm to become part of me again, and the pain stopped. It healed up. A couple of weeks, it was perfect.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Why it doesn't seem like it makes very much sense to fight your own body.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just on a common sense notion. I've got this box right here, and I'm thinking I'm going to see what it looks like if I put this under here to add just a little bit more.
Yeah, but now I'm having a similar problem with this arm, and I'm doing the same things, but it's not getting better. So I think that there's an entity or somebody working against me, because I'm doing everything with this arm that I did with this arm, and it's not getting better. I've got chronic pain in this arm, and because the muscles are all ripped in this arm, and it's been several months now, and it's not recovering, and I'm doing everything with this arm that I did with this arm, and so I know that there's somebody or something working on that arm to keep the pain there.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Do you think there's maybe some type of voodoo spell in place? Or something?
Yes, I definitely do. And I don't know who or what or why.
How do you fight that?
Sorry, how do I?
Or
how do I fight
how
it?
would your recommendations be for not only for yourself but for the members of the audience?
Well, I have no advice, because I don't know what's causing it, but I don't give in to it, and I'm going to beat it.
There you go.
I don't let it get me down, because whoever's doing it, I'm stronger.
Well, that's fascinating that this very thing that we're talking about right now brings to mind Tim Rifat, because he supposedly he's saying he wants all these people to hate him and want to try to kill him and everything, because he's somehow taking that energy, that their bad energy that they're sending to him, and not only collecting it but turning it back on them. And it's just it's fascinating listening to this.
Well, it is fascinating, and I was watching Tim Rifat. I hope he's a good. I don't know him. I'm sure he is a good guy, but equally, if he can do that kind of stuff, who's to say that somebody like him isn't doing that to me? Because
that's exactly what I'm saying. And because
that's probably what's happening.
Yeah, because
I don't know why anybody would be doing that to me, because
of the good work that you're doing. You tried to help that lady that you tried to help out of the that they kept trying to put her in the insane asylum. Remember, just recently. Maybe there was some. And not only that, you took the fight to the authorities, right? I mean, you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it could be just because of I put some of the posts I just put on Facebook, because that's seen by millions of people, and I put some controversial posts on Facebook sometimes. Some of the comments I make that they might seem laughable to a lot of people, but there could be those who see them who think, "Oh, she's a trouble," or just because I just write good stuff on Facebook about the healing I do. The powers that be don't like to see healing, do they?
Exactly. And so if there are people, we know that we're surrounded by doubting Thomases, but one thing's for sure, the bad guys aren't doubting Thomases.
Yeah. So I'm, for all I know, I could be just a targeted individual because of the fact that I'm just a good guy.
Yeah, it could be that simple.
Yeah. And I'm standing on my balcony last night at midnight, and the guy upstairs, he's 3 floors above, threw a bucket of water over me.
Well, how did his balcony? How did he if you're his balcony is more more further out there, more recessed than yours, or what?
No. Where I am, my apartment, the whole width of my apartment, I've got a balcony like this. It's 1 floor up, but it's like a patio balcony. Mine. All the other balconies are smaller, so if I'm on my balcony, everybody can look over their balcony and see me. Because mine's a huge balcony, they've got tiny balconies, so they're jealous.
So exactly, the jealousy right there. That's not, whatever the reasons that he did that, that had to be at least one of the reasons.
Yeah. And a couple of weeks ago, he threw a steel thermos flask at me.
Did it hit you?
No, missed me. And but if that hit me on the head, that could have done me serious injury. Steel thermos flask from 3 floors up, that had quite a velocity, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, apparently this guy isn't worried about, getting charges or something.
Well, there would be no witnesses, would there?
No, but I mean, there's only so many apartments above yours.
Yeah, but when they find my body, they could say that flask came from anywhere.
Well, they could, but if they did trouble to put forensics on it, or like what's it called, ICS or Miami CSI, and I'm not saying that they would, because they're so they have the technology to solve a lot of crimes that they just don't use, and based on, I'm guessing, a lot of things. But there was a murder in Texas a number of years ago. It was the Darla Rudier has been put on death row for it because she said that a man came into their house and stabbed her kids to death while her husband was sleeping upstairs. And it just so happened a few years later, her husband ended up being a supervisor where I worked. Well, I didn't like him, but of course I never brought up this. This was on a TV show, one of these detective TV shows. And whether anyone thought about it, it was a stark wake-up call to how far this forensics science has gone, because it's literally like what you see on the TV series. If they want to put the resources on it, they can get in there. They can, I mean, just the angle of the droplets of blood. Well, first of all, her kids were stabbed. She said she was attacked too, but she was just slashed. In other words, she didn't say that, but they could tell her wounds were superficial.
Yes.
Whereas her children's wounds were fatal.
Yes.
And then, where the knife was and stuff like that, they could tell she went over there and cleaned it. But one of the damning things, and of course I can't word it, was the direction of the micro droplets of blood that were almost microscopic. Well, if you got hit in the head with anything, a rock or anything, and it came from up above there, if they wanted to put the resources on it, you damn right they could find out where that rock came from. They could calculate your height, look at where the wound was, and they could do a lot of shit. And then narrow it down, and there's only probably, I don't know, how many units are up above you?
There's 3 apartments above me.
Oh, wait, okay, hold on. I forgot to put my headphones on. Okay, if you'll say something.
There's 3 apartments above me.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. So if you're on the 2nd floor, there's 3 above you. I guess it's a 5-story building.
It's a 4-story building.
Okay.
And there are, in actual fact, there's 3 apartments directly above me, and just to the right there's another 3 apartments. Just to the left there's another 3 apartments. So in effect it could have come from any of 9 apartments.
Unless they got the CSI London team in there, and they would know that they could know exactly where that motherfucker came from.
But in England, they wouldn't bother to investigate.
I know that. That's what. But I was just saying, if.
Yeah, my sister died when she was 27, and it's so obviously a murder, but they didn't, as far as I know, even do an autopsy, because she died. Allegedly choked to death after tripping over her dog, when there was her best friend, a nurse, standing alongside her, who allegedly panicked, and 3 months later was married to my sister's husband.
Wow.
And my sister's husband was in the Air Force, so he would have been fully first aid trained.
Was he at the residence when it happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, they just the details are, and it doesn't even matter if he was worth any money or anything, because it sounds like it could have been one of these, love.
Yeah,
things.
But when he met my sister, he was already married with 2 children, and my sister was 14 when he met her, and I'm 62. I'm 62, and he is now 78. He was, he was a paedophile when he met her.
Oh yeah. Well, how old is this lady that he's married to now?
Well, she was the same age as my sister.
Right.
But when he married my sister eventually, but they were married when my sister died. But then after my sister died, he was then married 3 months later to my sister's best friend, who stood and watched her die allegedly, and she was a fully registered staff nurse.
Yeah, who saw her trip and then choke. I mean, tripping doesn't even go with choking.
No, I know.
It's almost, but you'd wonder why someone would even risk something like that, and the simple answer is they really wouldn't unless they somehow knew that they were going to get away with it.
Yeah, I think what happened there was, she's supposed to have tripped over the dog. I think what happened was they suffocated her, and then they probably squeezed her abdomen to force the stomach contents into her throat to make it look like she'd vomited and choked on her own vomit. That's how I would have done it.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a murderer.
Right, but I mean, just like I'm not a criminal, but I was in the security camera industry for years, and so you try to put yourself in the mind of the bad guy,
Yeah.
Let me grab a drink real quick.
But it's not. Have you got headphones on?
Yep.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes. But if you want it to look like a choking, it's not difficult. You could just force something into somebody's throat and they're going to choke, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm sure you'd want to do it as soon as you were sure that they were dead, because, somehow this post-mortem or whatever it is, the rigor mortis, where it makes the body stiff. There's only so much you can do with the body that's been dead probably even an hour.
Yes.
So.
When you choke, though, it causes a reaction in the lungs that produces fluid and stuff. So they would have to actually choke to make it look like they choked to death. So you would want to make sure that that kind of thing of the lungs happens.
Well, I mean, so if you covered their face held them down and just covered their face with a pillow to more or less, I guess, suffocate them, would that be the same thing?
No. Okay. Because when you get something in the trachea that's blocking your breathing, your lungs would kind of spasm, because you'd be having that choking kind of thing going on, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, then again, the internet is so full of information. They could have looked it up on the internet. You know, I'm sure there's
But
instructions.
it wouldn't be difficult because she was a nurse. She would know about this stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, they wouldn't even have to probably do too much research.
But it's not difficult to save a life that's choking because I've done it myself. And at the time, I wasn't first aid trained, and it was a 2-year-old child, and even although I was panicking because at the time, although I was panicking, I was thinking I've got to save this child's life. I don't want to break her back or anything because she was tiny, and I'm thinking I've got to use enough force to save her, but not too much force that I break her back and burst her kidneys and stuff. And I'm thinking of all this important stuff at the same time, so I'm panicking and also thinking about all the safety aspects. I'm thinking, how much force do I use without damaging her and without saving her? And at the same time, I was thinking, if this child's mother, because this was the first time I'd been in this house of a stranger, if this child's mother walks into this room now, she's going to think I'm attacking her child. So I was in deep shit at the time. I was panicking because the child was dying and because I thought, if this child's mother walks in, I'm going to be in prison. Can you imagine it?
Oh, no. I mean, you talk about being under pressure. Where was her mother?
Her mother was in the kitchen making me a cup of coffee. Oh. And this, the other strange thing about this, I met this woman under strange circumstances because a couple of weeks earlier, she was I met her because I'd been in my office. I was unsettled. I couldn't work. I was in a strange state. So I left the office without saying goodbye. Got on a random bus and travelled north towards London. Got off in a random place and was wandering around. And I came across this Jamaican lady who was in pain. I asked her, "Are you okay?" She said, "No, I'm in labour." And then I delivered her baby a couple of weeks earlier.
Wow. It's almost if you were led by the spirit.
Yeah, and I delivered her baby painlessly. I did a hypnobirthing and in the street. And
wow. Was she a
I can send
lady?
you. Sorry?
Was she
No, she wasn't. But I can show you a photograph of the. I actually took her into a self-serve laundrette that was by the place where I met her. I can show a photograph of the laundrette. Got it on my computer if you want to see it.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I'll show it to you.
So one way of looking at it is that you saved 2 babies in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was incredible because when I was there, eventually I called an ambulance, and eventually 3 ambulances showed up, and I had ambulance men all over the place, and two nurses and a midwife. This midwife was a total bitch. You know, she wanted to know, who the hell are you? And she threw me out of the place eventually, after not too long. But I managed to slip my business card into the hands of one of the ambulance crew. I said, let her have that card. And had I not done that, that child would have been dead, because she phoned me and said, come over and I'll give you a cup of coffee. And
you mean it was the same lady?
It was the same lady, yeah.
Oh, so you saved the same child twice in 2 weeks?
No. I saved the child, the baby. It was the baby's older sister, who was only about.
That is beyond bizarre.
She was maybe 2 or 3 years old, the sister.
Well, let me ask you this: whenever she came back from did you kind of start yelling at her while you were doing CPR or whatever, or did you just go to work on the baby? And what?
No, I went to work on the baby. Well, I predicted. Because when the mother was in the living room, the child was running around with a really big piece of cake. You know, it would have been too big for me to eat. And it was jamming it into its mouth, because chocolate cake is really nice for a child, isn't it? I said, listen, woman, that child should be sitting down with a spoon eating that cake, because this is dangerous. She'll choke. Because the child was really hyperactive, running about eating this cake, which was yummy. And I predicted that the child would choke. And she said, no, it'll be all right. And then she went into the kitchen to make coffee. And then the child was running around and suddenly stopped running, stood in front of me, facing that way, with the hand up to the mouth like this, and just stand there in silence. And I'm sat there looking blankly as you are, at me, and I'm thinking, what's going on? I'm thinking, what's going on? And I'm just looking at this child, and it suddenly dawned on me that her lips were going pale, and that she was choking.
Oh my God!
I thought, shit. Oh, well, actually, oh my God. And I ripped the child's hands away from its mouth and knocked the cake onto the floor, and I started slapping it on the back, as hard as I could without, didn't want to hurt it, and that didn't work. So then I got it. I got my fist underneath its abdomen and bent it over and started both hands pushing up into the abdomen. But my fists were bigger than its abdomen because it was just a tiny child. It's just a baby.
What was her condition when her mother came back into the room, and what was her mother's reaction?
Well, after I got the cake out of the child's mouth, the child started throwing up, and then ran out of the living room crying, and the living room. Coming out of the living room into the hall had 2 steps going down into the hall, and then had this long corridor going into the kitchen, and she was running into the corridor, and I followed the child towards the kitchen, and the child ran into the kitchen. I followed it to explain to the mother what had happened, and she wouldn't believe me, and I was trying to persuade the mother that she needed to take the child to the hospital urgently to get its kidneys checked, because I'd been pounding this child's kidneys with my fists,
and she didn't.
And she wouldn't believe it. She was having none of it. She was just saying, "Oh, it's just been sick,"
So did she ask you to leave after that?
No. And the child was wailing and crying because I'd been, as far as the child was concerned, I'd been beating it up. Because the child was thinking the child has had a traumatic experience, choking, and then I've been beating it up.
Yeah, she didn't realize that you saved her life. The child.
Well, I don't know what for all I know, that the child could be traumatized to this day. I wonder what the child would think if she saw me now.
Right. I mean, would she thank you, or would she run in fear?
She might fling her arms around me, or she might run away. I would love to meet her, though. That would be wonderful. She'd be about, I don't know, maybe 25 years old now.
Oh, wow. That was a long time ago.
But the mother I didn't see the mother again, because the mother was very strange, because while I was there, she was a very, very attractive Jamaican woman and very fanciful. But all the time I was there, the phone was going all the time. And I could hear that it sounded like men she was talking to. And she was talking and writing appointments in a diary. I suspect that she was, I'm only guessing, but I have a feeling she was perhaps a lady of the night.
Oh, for sure. For sure she was.
Yeah. Because it was in Streatham, which is an area that is known for that kind of a woman.
Oh, okay. And she was good looking.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like that she had some type of maybe demonic attachment or something.
I don't know about that.
It's
why did you say that she had a demonic attachment?
Just because it's weird that there was 2 life and death situations around her twice, and that you got pulled into both of them, like seemingly out of the blue.
No, that's pure chance, and I've throughout my life I seem to have been in the right place at the right time for a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't believe in chance like that. I think that like coincidence and stuff like that. I don't really. I think there's spirits and stuff kind of subtly guide, or matrix. I don't know what it is, but I think that there's.
Well, I don't believe that there are no coincidences. I think these things are supposed to happen. Yeah, but it was amazing that I was shocked that I was in. Let me find this picture and I'll see if I can send it to you.
Okay.
Let me. Where are pictures? There are pictures. What did I call this picture? Was it Wash in Laundrette? I think it was called Wash. Oh, there it is. I wonder if I can drag this and drop it into the window.
I think you should be able to, if I'm not mistaken. I think I've maybe have done it like once during an interview, and it's something that I need to know how to do. You know.
I think. Oh, there it is. There it goes. I've sent it to you.
Oh, okay, yeah, I just got it. Oh, that's an awesome feature. So and I'll find out later if this is actually going on the video, and if not, I can take it and put it on the video.
Yeah, but this is a later picture, because when I did it, there was a red telephone box outside. But the telephone box is that we don't have telephone boxes anymore, and because we have mobile phones, don't we? But yeah. back in those days, this was before mobile. In fact, no. When I did this, mobile phones had just come in, and they were those big brick things, and there was still a lot of telephone boxes around.
Yeah, they're about that big. And
yeah.
If you remember that the movie with Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Danny Glover, there was a type of phone that came after that, and that's one that my dad had. And of course, we had this business we were doing together, so of course I had it a lot. And you just thought you were styling and profiling. It wasn't the big shoebox one. It was the one that was kind of almost like a little handbag, a little purse.
Yes.
It was a box and had a phone on it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, talking on the phone, It was hilarious.
Because in the old days, when mobile phones were like that big, if someone tried to steal your phone, you could just beat their brains out with it, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. So
you couldn't do that with an iPhone, could you?
No, you could just kill them slowly with the 5G.
Yes. Yeah, with the 5G phones, you'll be able to download an app that turns it into a weapon. You can point it at somebody and kill them with it.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Oh, no. Are you saying they're going to have apps that would make it a directed energy weapon?
It'll be yes.
Only for the secret services, I guess. I mean, they're not going to.
No. This is the frightening thing. Anybody will be able to download that. Because I was watching a webinar a few weeks ago, and they were telling you that there is a university. I can't remember which one it was in the USA where they have already got 5G and 5G phones, and they have been encouraging the juniors to download that app and point it at the seniors. And the seniors are getting really sick because the seniors don't know that juniors have got this app. And literally, you download the app onto your 5G phone, it turns it into a DEW weapon. You just point it at someone, they don't know you're doing it, and it makes them sick.
And they don't feel anything at the time? They don't get hot or anything?
Well, I don't know how sick it makes them, but this is, you can imagine how dangerous that is, because anybody can have one of those once we get. It's bad enough that 5G is a weapon system anyway, because once they turn those because over here, all of the lampposts have got 5G on them already. And I know in Gateshead over in England, they've already used them, and mothers are losing their babies before they're born already. People have got nosebleeds and stuff, and the council are denying that they're testing the 5G.
Wow. It's fascinating. They're starting the world's first smart highway. And it's I-35 here in the United States, and I-35 just happens to go through Austin. Yeah. Now, it just so happens they're calling Austin the new Silicon Valley.
Yes.
And so there's all kinds of tech and stuff happening here. Well, I knew about this smart highway and all kinds of dastardly stuff that it could do, and of course heard about it from conspiracy sites. My roommate, who I have a roommate over here in my townhome, he works for the Texas Department of Transportation.
Yes.
He's a brilliant genius. They brought him down from Canada. He's an Indian man. He's got a degree in engineering, but he's not an engineer. He's not working in the capacity as an engineer there, and he's not even managing the engineers. He's on the conceptual team. concepts. And he has personally told me that there's things that they are working on that are top secret that he can't talk about.
Yes.
And he's even got a badge and everything. I hadn't seen it. He told me he had one. I believe him.
Yeah.
And it's not because he's a cop or anything. He does have a special stickers on his car where, like, we went out clubbing one night. He can park anywhere because he's with the Department of Transportation. Well, they might need to go do something and just park somewhere. You know what I mean? Even in a private parking garage and not get towed. Anyway, so it's just boggles the mind to imagine what they might be working on with this smart highway. But I'm sure there's a 5G aspect to it.
Yeah. Well, I can send you this. I took a photograph when I visited my father back on the 9th of July of a junction near his house. This is a major, it's not even a motorway. It's an A road, which is like a busy road, but it's not a motorway. But I took a photograph of it, and they've got 30 or 40 lampposts on this one junction. And every single one of them had a 5G antenna on top of it. So they're all LED lamps with it's about that big. Size of my thing, it's got the 5G repeater on top of it. And there's 30 or 40 of them on this one junction. And it's frightening. And I'm thinking the amount of radiation that's going to be on that one junction. So when you drive through there, you're going to get zapped by all of that radiation. But imagine if you're living in one of those houses next to that junction, you're getting it all of the time.
Oh, yeah. There's no time. Now, were you the one that told me that one of the... Oh, no, I think it may have been Miles Johnston, who I spoke with a few weeks ago. And he's, of course, there's many people are, very concerned about this 5G. But what he was telling me is that, like, say a number of cars had 5G transmitters and receivers on them, or transceivers, right? Transmitter receivers on them, and they just happen to be going down the highway near one another at the same time. There is a way that this wave propagates, that when you get a number of these antennas together, they create waves that are greater than the sum of their added waves. In other words, they kind of like exponentialize one another, and it sounds like that's what's going on at that intersection.
Yes, well, that can happen. But, this has been going on for a very long time, and the reason I don't have a mobile phone is because back in 1976, I think it was, I was working in the electronics industry in a government, in the MOD, for an aeronautical company where we did radar and radio. And back then, this is that's 2038, that's about 40 years ago, isn't it? Back then, we knew the dangers of radio, and because that factory was across the road from residential areas, we knew how dangerous it was 40 years ago. That's why I have never used a mobile phone, because that mobile phone technology is what we were using back then. And we had to write triplicate reports before we tested any equipment to prove that we put it inside a sealed steel cage before testing it, because it was so dangerous. And you've got it in your pocket.
Yeah,
but not me. I won't use it. And we're not even talking about 5G. We're talking about ordinary mobile phone technology that was 40 years ago. It's been around for 40 years before you got it in your pocket.
Yes.
The only difference is that it wasn't miniaturized 40 years ago like it is in your pocket. It's the same technology, just that it was a lot bigger in those days. But it's the same stuff.
It was also more powerful.
No, it wasn't more powerful. It was the same power. It's just that we didn't have the miniaturization back then. It had the same amount of power.
Well, there's supposedly some old Motorola phones that they don't want anyone to have because the transceivers are just so powerful. But those might even be. I think those are on mobile phones. I don't know. But another thing is, when you got it in your pocket, you've got it next to the royal. What do you call it? The royal jewels or whatever. You know what I mean? So, and then there
Yeah.
should be, and then all of a sudden you can't figure out why you can't have kids. I mean, you got a little radiation right there next to your business.
Yeah. But with the 5G, let me read this to you. With the
Okay.
5G, what's going to happen when they turn on the 5G? I just this won't read properly because I just tried to scribble some notes very quickly while I was listening to it.
Okay.
The 5G is at a frequency. Have you gone?
I'm getting a drink and I'll cover that thing. I'm right here. I'm looking at you.
All right. The frequency of the 5G is, because it's millimeter waves, it irradiates oxygen molecules. So it's actually going to burn the oxygen that we breathe. So it's going to irradiate oxygen molecules at 60 gigahertz. And it exposes you to the effect and affects your body's hemoglobin ability to bind the oxygen molecules. They're messing about with the orbital properties. Hold on, I've lost a piece of paper there. They're messing about with the orbital properties of the electron spin of the diatomic oxygen molecules. So do you think that's an accident? The military have been studying these weapons for decades. So it's messing about with the oxygen. It's going to burn the oxygen, and that means not when it's in the air. It's also going to do that when it's in your blood
And in your brain. They'll take out,
in
cut
your
off
brain,
the oxygen to your brain.
where it's not going to be selective. If it's oxygen, it's going to burn it wherever it is. Whether it's in the air, whether it's in your body, whether it's in plants, whether it's in trees. And that's what's one of the reasons why in California all the trees are burning.
Oh,
Have you seen any?
well,
Have you seen those pictures where trees are on fire from the inside, but the outside isn't burning?
No, I haven't seen that. Oh my gosh, they're maybe sending scalar weaponry, or maybe just sending 5G at it or something.
It's 5G that's done it.
Yeah.
But scalar weapons do it as well.
Oh yeah, I've heard, and this would totally be down to earth and totally stand to reason and make sense that a lot of reasons they're doing those big fires in California is to just get people out of there so they can buy it all up and then redevelop it or something.
Yes.
Just to make
yes,
billions
that's right.
of dollars.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
It's fascinating.
It's also because they want to get the people out of that area and get them concentrated in towns where they can control them.
Yeah, and because out there they also might have some secret bases or something that they don't want people messing around over there.
Well, think prison. A town is a prison, but a rural area isn't. It's hard to control people when they're out in the rural areas, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is. The cities are the ultimate trap, and
they don't want people living independently, do they? Don't people off grid.
No, that's true, and that's one reason I'm thinking about buying some property in another country, like Peru or something.
And this is one of the reasons why they don't want people living on 0 point energy, because they can't control you.
Of course. Now I've got to run upstairs and get my phone because I don't know what time, but I have to pick up my roommate at the airport. He's flying back from Canada. Let me grab my phone right quick.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I don't miss a call.
Okay.
And of course, I got to keep that 4G right next to me. Keep all that oxygen burning.
Okay.
Oh, I already had it down here.
I sent you another picture.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm supposed to pick him up from the airport. I took him to the airport the other day, but he never told me. Oh, hold on, I got to plug this in. He never told me what time, So, and I've been texting him, and I'm surprised that he hasn't texted me back. It makes me wonder if he's maybe lost his phone.
Okay. Well, you won't be able to pick him up then, will you?
Well, I mean, he better hope that he didn't lose his phone, because a cab ride from the airport to out here would probably cost about $100.
Yeah. I've sent you another picture. That's the same laundrette, but that's what it looks like today. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just I've got some icons down here at the bottom, and I was able to see that last picture. Oh no, I just took a picture. No, I didn't want that. In other words, I saw the last picture that you sent, but this one has not come up yet.
No?
Oh wait, now hold on.
I can see it at my end.
Yeah, I can see it. The laundrette, it says wash and dry your duvet here. What is a duvet?
Duvet. It's a throw, a quilt. Do you know quilt?
Oh yeah, that's what we call them over here.
A continental quilt.
Oh well, another thing we call them over here is comforter.
Yes, we call them duvets here.
Duvets, yeah, it sounds like I guess a French word. Now, I accidentally, and let me ask you this. Oh, I accidentally took a snapshot of it. Is that showing on your screen right now? That picture of you and me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now if I'm pushing the X, so now has it gone away?
I can still see it at my end.
Oh, but okay. I'm just wondering how, I send a picture to you. I mean, I've done this before. Let's see. Okay. Obviously, I can send, an emoji, I guess.
Yes.
Probably this plus button right here. Oh no, that's hold call. Let's see.
What are you trying to do?
I'm just trying to see if I can send you a picture. I mean, not anything in particular. I just need to know how I need to know how to do that, because that's very.
You find your picture and then just left click it and drag and drop it into the text box.
Oh, okay.
That's the way I do it.
Okay, all right. Let me try that right quick. Okay.
Or you can left click on the three dots in the text box, and there's a number of buttons that appear, and you can click on the one to open up the file box to select your picture.
Okay, let's see. I got a picture here right here, but oh damn it! I don't see the text box.
I tell you, I'm not looking forward to having somebody playing with my dick and shoving a long pencil up it.
Oh, I know it. That doesn't sound like much fun. That's not an endoscopy. What is that?
It's a cystoscopy.
Cystoscopy. That doesn't even sound like fun.
No, it's called. You can pay kinky women to do that to you. And I can never understand why anybody would want to have that done to them.
I know it. It doesn't make any sense.
It's painful.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you want to have pain in your dick?
Well, yeah. Why would you want to have pain anywhere? I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, now I think I sent you a picture. Okay.
I confess I have had women give me pain, and I was cured the first time.
Yeah, I know it.
I realized it was a mistake.
Yeah, in other words, it was a mistake for you to be over at their house or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, so did you? I'm guessing you got some pictures from me now.
Yes.
Now, what I'm wondering is, if those pictures are being recorded on the video? I don't know. Or if
who is this picture of the person standing in the water?
That is a military person who's been put into an ice bath because I had an interview earlier a few days ago with Tara, who's my psychic, who has been basically she's been a monarch sex or monarch controlled person her entire life, and that's one thing they did. They got her and a bunch of young people, and they put them, I think, in an ice bath type deal for like 6 days or something ridiculous like that. I mean, they were torturing them and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you just click on that other picture?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and I'll see later when I'm editing it because it came up on my screen. It filled kind of like the whole screen, or at least the whole Skype screen. And so I'm wondering.
Sorry.
No, that's good. I want to see if that like puts it in the video. In other words, say, okay, I'm going to.
Oh, I can do that again. What I clicked view together.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So do that again, and then whatever the picture is, we'll talk about it for maybe like 10 seconds or whatever, and then I'll see later. Okay. So you see what that's a picture of, right?
It looks like a man wearing some kind of weird robe.
Yes, that man is me, and that robe is a robe that I made myself because in the occult they, and also you see that it also kind of looks like a towel, with the letter T, with the way the sleeves are done. But that is the robe that I use in the OTO.
Okay.
So anyway, but I'm standing in front of a Catholic church, which is in the old neighborhood where I used to live, and of course you see the pillars there, right? The pillar of mercy and the pillar of severity. So anyway, really, I just wanted to see if this if it comes up in the video, like while we're talking about it right now, if it just shows just that, and we'll find out later. Because I mean, it has something to do with Skype, but it probably also has to do with the way my third-party program works. That's called Call Recorder. It's been a pretty damn good program.
Is that a Skype program?
No, it's a third-party deal. I pay, I think, $35 a year for it. And what it does is after we're finished with our conversation, I go back and there's like this type of file. Well, I can start watching the movie or whatever, but then I can render it. And I can render it where you and me are side by side, but part of the picture is cut off on both of us. But then there's another option that I didn't know of until just only like maybe 5 or 6 months ago. It's called tiled, where it's still you and me side by side, but it shows our everything that the camera sees. So in other words, it's two widescreen pictures right next to each other. So obviously it's pretty short, but I like that wide picture, and that's basically what I use for my video. But other options I have is I can download a file I can turn it render it, so to speak, into a file of MP4 that's just you. It'll have both of our voices, but it'll show just you. And similarly, I can do it where it's just me.
Okay.
And, I could do those things, but I don't a lot because that just equals a lot more work for me, a lot more editing work.
Yes. Okay.
So,
do you want me to leave this picture up?
No, if you'll just go ahead and take it down. I think we left it there long enough that I'll definitely, notice it. And not only that, I can see right now we're at 1 hour and 3 minutes, so I'll know, right around an hour, I'll look and see if it's like taking up the whole screen, and that will, because say I was, if somebody was giving an example to me, or I'm giving an example to somebody else, like, and I don't know if these are just in the queue, but you see that picture. I don't know if that was during our conversation or a different one, but that is, the petroglyphs. That I took that picture personally, but that is the petroglyphs, or one of the petroglyphs in Moab, Utah. And of course, it's not green. I just took the regular picture, which is a beautiful picture.
What picture? I can't see what picture you're talking about.
Oh, okay. I brought it. That I needed to know that too. I put a big. Let me see. Let me see if I can drag it to your. See it down here. Open. Let's see. Well, I'll push open. Now, do you see it? A green
Not
picture?
yet.
You do?
Nothing green. You're putting it in Skype, are you?
Well, okay.
I can see it in your sunglasses. I can see you're looking at it on your screen.
Fascinating.
In your sunglasses.
Okay, now let me try that. Okay, no, wait. Let me get back to the chat, and I'll put it in the chat box. Okay, see if you see it now. Wait, hold on. Hold on, let's see. Let me put it on the desktop. See, it was on my little sidebar or whatever, but now it's it's in preview. But hold on, so it'll be in my my downloads. It'll be
your
on
microphone. Your microphone is behind you.
No, it's not. That's just for looks.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I know that I have to take these pictures and put them in the, put them in the chat box.
You haven't done it yet.
I know it. Because it says it's on the desktop, but I didn't see it on the desktop, and so we'll just have to give up on that. Experiment. Now let's see. Oh yeah, now I think I see. Oh, that's okay. I just sent something, but it's the cover to the video I did recently. Oh, okay. And now I just put that. I didn't mean to do that. That was just put a PDF in there. But anyway, yeah, it looks like I've got it down. So I'll get rid of this. Yeah, you see that one thing that says Megami, the Balkan alchemist, and Tim Rifat.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I've got it now. I can.
And you sent me Katy Perry chained PDF.
Yeah, I know. I thought it showed a picture of it, so I thought I was sending you a picture of Katy Perry. But I guess I might have sent you the whole PDF. I guess I did. I don't know. You
did. You sent me Katy Perry chained PDF.
Yeah.
PDF.
Oh well, that's good to know that I can send a PDF too, because we could open. If we could, if we wanted to, we could open it at the same time. And there's of course no. I'm not going to say there's no way, but wouldn't it be interesting if we could watch a music video at the same time? And
what is this Katy Perry chained PDF? Do I need to look at it?
Yeah, go ahead and look at it. I'd like to discuss it because this is the video that Katy Perry made that deals with Tim Rifat.
Okay.
And in that show that you and I were both watching earlier, which is the Jeff Rentz show, this is the PDF that you're supposed to look at while they're doing the show.
Okay.
And so let me. I'm kind of re-downloading it, but yeah. So yeah, this is good. This is good. This I like this. Let's see here. So I'll probably have to minimize.
Is it a big file? It was going to take a while to download.
Oh, it is. No, I don't think it's very big, but I don't know, what your connection is like. But then again, it does have a lot of pictures in it. So,
it's not downloaded yet. It's still showing 0, so it's not downloaded yet.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's then again, you and I are probably using quite a bit of bandwidth just talking to each other, or with a video call. So, it may not, we don't have to look at that PDF, but I was just kind of an interesting experiment. And I would have to find it anyway because, oh, okay. Well, yeah, there I got it. Now, do you know who this lady is, Maria Call-Yee?
Oh, here it is. I'm looking at. I don't even know who Katy Perry is because I don't have television. I've lost touch with things like this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't own a television either, but I do happen to know who Katy Perry is. Of course, she's amazingly beautiful, but she's like just one of the top, I guess, pop stars, or the top pop star. That video that we were watching earlier.
Which video?
Well, the one with Tim Rifat and Jeff Rentz.
Oh, yes.
This is the PDF that goes with that interview. And so, okay, now I've got mine pulled up. Now, have you opened the PDF?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
121 pages. My God.
It's how long is it?
121 pages.
Oh, yeah. It's not that much to read, though. It's mostly pictures, but it's comparing stuff to let's see what page I'm on. I'm on page 2, I think. Go to page 2.
I'm on page 2.
You see the stuff. One of the things that's interesting about this Katy Perry video, "Chained to the Rhythm," which is supposedly about Tim Rifat, among other things, is the set of the video that she's on has many similarities to Brighton Beach.
Yeah.
Which, as I understand, is a kind of a luxury getaway place there in England. Is that right?
Well, in actual fact, it's a bit of a dive. I wouldn't call it luxury at all.
Oh, well, did it used to be fancy?
But back in Victorian days, the rich people used to go there, but it's not rich anymore.
Okay, well,
because the pier, one of the piers is burnt down, and the other one is where working class people go.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably why they have an amusement park. But it seems like I remember from English class in high school or something like that, Brighton Beach Memoirs. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Oh, because I think it's some kind of famous book, and that's the only reason I even know what Brighton Beach is, because I remember that book, Brighton Beach Memoirs. I mean, I've never read it. It could be a Victorian age book. But anyway, so apparently the set of her, video looks a lot like Brighton Beach, and they go through ad nauseum showing all the similarities that it has. If you'll go to page 4, there's a pretty good example of that it does look a lot like the amusement park in her video looks like the amusement park at Brighton Beach. And anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked on the video. It is fascinating. And I've also heard that Tim Rifat threatened Taylor Swift's life publicly.
Yeah, why did he do that?
Because according to Tim Rifat, these, some of the people in the conspiracy, genre would have us believe that these pop stars are like mindless sex slaves that are just being used to, send out all these occult messages. Well, we know that they are, of course, being used to send out these occult messages. But according to him, they are much more than just mindless tools being used by the industry. They are, in fact, witches and very powerful sorceress, just as he claims to be a sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
And in the comments of one of my videos talking about Tim Rifat, Duncan Davis, who is one of Tim Rifat's good friends, and who is in fact is on the Tim Rifat episode that Miles Johnston has done, that's been put into 4 sections. The very first section is who they call the Grid Keeper, Duncan, and I've been in contact with him and everything. And of course, he thinks highly of Tim, but I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure exactly where I was going with that. I guess because he's the one. Oh no, yeah, I know. He told me in the comments that apparently at some point during all this, Tim Rifat was put into a psychic ward, a mental hospital for a brief amount of time, and according to the Grid Keeper Duncan Davis, he mind controlled or whatever, remote influenced the staff there to get special privileges and stuff, like tea and crumpets and stuff like this, but also to use the phone. And he did one of these Jeff Rentz radio shows on the phone from a psychic ward of a hospital when that was against the rules. And so that was, supposedly another example of his powers or abilities. Now, this one video that I published yesterday, I believe, called Megami, the Balkan Alchemist, on Tim Rifat. Have you seen that video?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's only 15 minutes long, and it's me talking
I watched it twice.
Well, what did you think about that?
And I still couldn't understand it. There was so much echo, I couldn't work out what he was saying much.
Yeah, I know. And then not only that, he's a foreigner, so his accent and everything's, it throws off. But he claims that he started liking Tim Rifat because one of the things that Tim Rifat was doing was something that he was already doing, and this had something to do with aluminum bells.
Yes.
And so of all the, the hocus pocus and the rituals that I hear about this, energy transference and, psychic warfare and everything like that, and then all the supposed mathematics that Tim is bringing into it, I've only really heard of 2 different objects, physical objects that are used to do this hocus pocus. And one of them is the aluminum bells, which I heard, and he didn't go to an explanation of it, but I heard that from Megami, the Balkan Alchemist, but also the crystals.
Mm.
There's these crystals, and I don't know. Have you seen the Tim Rifat videos that Miles has done recently?
I saw the one recently with Miles. Where does Miles meet these? How does he get to find these people?
He's an international celebrity.
Yes.
I mean, I doubt he would admit that, but I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, millions of people know who Miles Johnson is.
And with Tim Rifat, where does he get these skills from?
Okay, now see, that's very interesting. Tim Rifat, he has a degree in chemistry.
Yeah.
But he's also been he's apparently at one point was a journalist. And I guess, started studying this mind control stuff, I think right when they first started coming out with some certain types of documents in the early 90s. Okay,
yes.
Well, he was a regular guest on the Jeff Rentz show. And I can't see your video, by the way. I can just see a still picture of you.
Really?
Yeah, and so we definitely want to have you on video, so you might want to check that real quick.
I've got video on my side. Let me turn it off and I'll turn it on again. Maybe that'll help.
Or maybe click on it or something.
What about now?
Yeah,
you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you now. And so, so Tim Rifat for years apparently was on the Jeff Rentz show quite often.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was a journalist. Now, I listened to an interview that they were doing in 1999. And Tim was talking about the reptilians and stuff and giving his take on the reptilians. I guess the reptilians were hot then. But my take on it is that he was an investigator learning, getting some advanced knowledge or whatever about all this stuff, and ultimately started using it to the point where now if you take his word for it and Duncan the Grid Keeper's word for it and I guess Megami the Balkan alchemist actually using this shit. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when Duncan the Grid Keeper reported on the comment section of one of my videos that Tim had mind controlled these staff of this mental hospital, my very first thing I wanted to know was what he was using. Was he using these crystals? Okay, here's one other thing, a piece of information I've got to give you to quantify this. He was on a show, and I can send you the link after we get off. I think it's called For the Love Of or something like that. But truthfully, it's a show that's kind of about conspiracies. But it was in the UK. It was a British show back in the late 90s, mid to late 90s. Mm-hmm. And the guy who hosted it was some kind of famous guy who you would probably know, but I didn't know who he was. But I watched the show. But anyway, so he had these people that were bitching about Big Brother and all this stuff, and some they had written books, or they're supposed experts in this different stuff. And Tim Rifat was an expert. Well, it goes along that they're doing this conversation, and these two guys, and Tim had maybe already talked about these physical devices that are these psychotronic weapons. It's a physical box or something like that. Well, later, it's two other guys talking about something, and they start getting in a heated argument, and one guy starts accusing the other guy of being with the NSA and being a plant. He said, the whole time you've been, dogging me, and all this stuff like that. Like, they're almost about to get into a fight. And then Tim Rifat pulls this box out of his jacket and holds it up like that, and he says, yes, it can also be used to create conflict, too, and he just to dial, as if
create what?
To create conflict. As if he in his little box made these two guys get in an argument.
Yeah.
I'm not, that's what, and I think there's even been people that have claimed that one guy was being paid, like it was just all a big, fraud. But it definitely, made an impact on the audience.
Yes.
But now of the videos that Miles has made that has been turned into 4 parts of Tim Rifat, these recent ones, which one did you see? Yes. Number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4?
I saw 3 and 4.
Yeah, those are the ones where the meat and potatoes are.
So with Tim Rifat, and I don't have any maliciousness in what I'm saying before I say this. Uh-huh. Based what I saw that he was doing, how do I know? And he seemed like a nice guy. How do I know if he is a nice guy?
I don't think he is. I don't know why he seemed like a nice guy to you, because he didn't seem like a nice guy at all to me. Because
I say he's a nice guy because he's a friend of Miles.
Yeah, well, or he's an acquaintance. Miles has had Colonel Aquino on his show, and I don't think that he's friends with Colonel Aquino. And of course, I'm not going to say anything bad about Colonel Aquino because I'm smarter than that. Christine.
I mean, for all I know, it might be him that's giving me this pain in the shoulder. But the guy, as far as I know, doesn't even know me.
Yeah,
But
so
who knows?
yeah, well, I mean, it's possible, or it could be. But what he's saying is he's not claiming to be the only one to have this power. Now, another interesting thing he says is that people who do healing, like maybe even like kind of like what you do, but especially like Reiki or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
He says it's just the same thing except they're using it to heal and he's doing it to hurt. But I mean, he's he has his reasons for like I don't know, wanting America to burn or something like that. I mean, he just makes some really inflammatory statements. So I really can't agree with you that he's a nice guy because he's talking about killing people.
I was not wanting. I say that because I was not wanting to say. I don't like to say ill of anybody.
Yeah, I know, and that was good of you, and also to respect Miles, especially since he's been under so much attack recently.
And there was that as well.
Yeah, and actually, Tim Rifat doesn't seem to be most people's type of guy, and I'm not let me tell you, there's things I like about him. But I don't like any of this talk about, like America burning or, any of this shit. I don't cut for that at all.
And I don't like talk about killing people.
Well, you're absolutely right. I put some information about Tim Rifat on this little group that I'm in. I'm in a little, I'm not going to call it an elite group, but it's not even a Facebook group. But it's a group.
Even with the Rothschilds, I don't like the Rothschilds and what they do, but killing them isn't good either, because what I do with bad stuff is I repurpose it. I stop them doing the bad stuff and I repurpose it and get them doing good stuff.
That's really what should be done, because some of the people are like even talking about the archons, that you should heal the archons, or you shouldn't, or whatever, So yeah. I mean, it has a moral. It has a moral fiber to it.
It's with one of my clients recently. I won't tell you who it was, but one of my clients recently, she was in agony with migraine. So I put her into trance, and I did what we call parts therapy, and I called up that part that was causing her migraine, and I said, "Okay, part, I want to talk to you because it's causing a migraine," and I thanked the part for causing the migraine. So I didn't tell it off. I thanked it for causing the migraine because it has a purpose, and I thanked it for causing the migraine and doing a good job, because it's giving a migraine to get her attention, because there's been a lot of stuff going on in her life that hasn't been cool, and so it's given her the migraine because of all that stuff, and because it's trying to tell her we need a change here. So I said, thank you for doing all that. And then I said to the part, are you prepared now? You've got her attention to stop giving her a migraine, and we'll repurpose you and give you something more productive to do. So I said, would you be prepared to change and look after her weight and her motivation now? And it said yes. So I repurposed it for something more productive. And her migraine stopped. She's not having them now.
Fascinating.
And she's overweight, so now her weight's coming down.
That's good. Now, was this thing that you were talking to, was it a thought form?
Sorry?
Was it a thought form, or what was it? An entity?
No. It's her mind, because our mind is made up of parts. There's a part that there's a part that is controlling her migraine. There's a part that controls her weight. There's a part that controls her heartbeat. There's a whole series of parts. We call them parts. So there's a part. You've got you do that thing with your knife, don't you? You're always playing with knives. There's a part of you that needs to do that thing with knives. I don't know why it does that, but that's a part. And if I was to put you into hypnosis, I could call up. I could call up part. I could say, okay. I could say, Ayin, I want you to go to your safe place, Ayin, and relax there, and wherever it is that safe place is. And I could call up the part of Ayin that plays with knives and talk to it and say, okay, Ayin, you've got this thing you do with knives, and don't know why it is that you do that. And I could discuss with that part of you that does the knife thing and examine and explore why that is, and we may get all kinds of answers come up, or may not.
Well, we could try that, and I wouldn't be opposed to that. Now, I think that I inadvertently.
No, I'm not for one moment suggesting that you need to, but it's a part of you.
Well, maybe we should do. And the only reason I'm saying maybe we should do it on a different subject or something. Having is because I think I may have got that answer the other day. I was in my deal with Brandon Young. He was talking, and I don't know if he almost had to be making an example of me, but he was for some reason talking about women, like he's an expert on women, and I guess but they wanted to understand the masculine, or maybe get in touch with their masculine aspect. Mm-hmm. And his recommendation was like to get a sword and to hold a sword and to see what it feels like and all this stuff. Of course, I had my machetes and everything right there. I just went donk, like that, and so but. I think he must have, kind of been leading me to do that. I don't know, but anyway.
Yes.
So So if you ask him, he'd probably say that playing with knives and swords and stuff is like getting in touch with the masculine aspect of yourself. And of course, we know that a sword is in symbology or whatever is often reminiscent of a a phallic symbol. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. But we have different aspects of our personality, and we call all those aspects parts. And so in hypnosis, we call it parts therapy. And it's a useful tool. You can buy books on parts therapy. You might find them interesting.
Yeah, so that's the accepted term in the hypnotherapist industry.
Yes, there's a famous book by a friend of mine, and because I got this head injury, I'm trying to remember his name. He's the man that actually coined the term parts therapy. What's his name? I'll have to Google it because I can never remember names, and these are friends of mine. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's not Richard Bandler, is it?
Oh, no, not him.
Oh, okay. Is Richard Bandler a hypnotherapist?
He's the man that invented NLP.
Yeah, I knew that. And I think NLP is somewhat of a natural thing.
Say again?
I think that NLP is somewhat of a natural thing.
Oh, Roy Hunter. He's the parts therapy man.
And
Roy
so
Hunter.
What credentials does he have? Is he with the association, recognized by the association that recognizes you?
Well, there is no association that recognises me.
Oh, I thought there was some type of a worldwide hypnotherapy society or something.
Well, there are all kinds of hypnotherapy organisations, but I don't subscribe to any of them because these organisations are all set themselves up. They're not licensed or authorised by anybody because hypnotherapy is unregulated.
For a reason, because it works. And,
yes.
And because if it got into the wrong hands, like say for instance yours, then people might go around doing good, and that no. That's what they don't want that. You can gasp. You might even be able to cure cancer with it or something like that.
Yeah.
It's very. I mean, that's a total red flag. The fact that we know that hypnotism works, and yet it's not a regulated industry.
Yes.
That's a huge red flag that somebody doesn't want it to be an industry.
Yes. Yeah. The trouble with hypnosis is that if you go to a psychiatrist or psychotherapy, you'll go for 6 months or 100 sessions. You go to hypnosis, you'll go for 1 session. That's the problem with hypnosis.
Yeah, it doesn't waste enough money.
That's right. Yes. Roy Hunter's the man to go to for parts therapy. He's the man that knows the most about it, I think you'll find. That doesn't mean to say you can't go to any other hypnotist, but he's the man that has written most of the books on it. And he's the man, I think, that probably wrote the first book on it.
Well, we're not going to bring up the fact of if I have broken my oath or if I haven't. And I think I've told you this before that I actually took an oath that I wouldn't be hypnotized. But the thing is, maybe we should try to do some type of impromptu hypnosis session, but I just don't know what we would...
Didn't you let me hypnotize you a bit some weeks back? I thought.
Well, yeah, some months back. I mean, I got to be, I don't have to be careful what I say. I mean, I'm not,
Oh, you mean because of the OTO? You mustn't be hypnotized, isn't it?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't like people to be hypnotized, but there's always, how are they going to prove that I was hypnotized, right? I mean, so.
Why do they not like you to be hypnotized? Because is it because only they want to hypnotize you?
Probably. Now that of these bad, the cabal-like groups that maybe mind control people and something like that. Now, according to Tara and also according to others, hypnosis. And now, see, you might disagree with this because you've told me that hypnotism can't do anything bad because you more or less have to you really have to agree to something to do it. So let me ask you about this. What do you think about Darren Brown?
Well, I try not to think about him.
Yeah.
He's a charlatan. Okay. But with hypnosis, people, most hypnotists will tell you that you can't be made to do things against your will, and that's complete nonsense because with hypnosis you can be made to do things against your will, and if that weren't true, advertising wouldn't work.
There you go, and Darren Brown wouldn't be famous. Or do you think all those people are just paid off? You think it's just a stage act?
No. He does use some trickery, but he is a very good hypnotist.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know that.
But he's no better than any of the others of us. We're all very good hypnotists.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine taught Darren Brown all he knows.
Wow. Who was that?
That was oh God, he's Roger Royal. Also known as Alex.
Alex Royal.
He's a member of my hypnosis group.
Oh, okay.
Because he's actually more famous than Darren Brown.
Fascinating. Now, is he the man that questioned that they brought in to do an investigation in the not the Philippines, but the Taiwan or something? Didn't one of your friends do an investigation down there?
Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
One of your friends, I think, got brought in by the Taiwanese government or something like that to hypnotize.
Oh no, that's Tom Silver. Tom Silver. But Tom Silver made the Manchurian Candidate, as did Darren Brown. He did the same, and I think Tom Silver did it before Darren Brown did it. Got somebody to shoot somebody under hypnosis.
Yeah, but in Darren Brown's case, it was a fake bullet or whatever.
Yes, it wouldn't be wise on television to really shoot somebody, would it?
No, but Tom Silver, the one he programmed, actually killed somebody.
No, he used a fake bullet as well.
Oh, yeah, and to do some type of ruse to catch a government agent or something like that.
No. He on television, both of them on television.
Oh, both of them. Okay, just to do a display.
Hypnotized somebody to shoot somebody, but the person thought that he really was shooting somebody, but it was a blank bullet with exploding blood inside the shirt kind of thing.
Okay, so here's the next question, and you're probably already ready for this question. Is it possible, without torture or drugs or sensory deprivation or anything like that Keithanthony Taylor could be hypnotized to do something against his will?
Yes, absolutely.
Fascinating.
Well, as I'm human, but it's also possible for me to hypnotize other people against their will, and I could equally hypnotize somebody to shoot somebody.
Okay, and now of course I wouldn't ask you to hypnotize me against my will, but now I wonder if we did do a small, I'm not going to say quasi, but if we did do some type of hypnosis session, what would maybe a good thing would be like, you know, and I don't want to say her name, but there's a girl, and we really have broken up now. That really is true, and it, you know, I'm not going to say how long ago because there's a bunch of difficulties, but and I haven't spoken to her in, you know, I'm not going to say how long, but just my fascination with this person that just is just terrible to me. You know, maybe we could, you know, ask what's a part of my brain, you know, what in the hell, you know, is going through my mind to even give this person the time of day. Not that I do it anymore, but I was up until pretty recently. That might be something interesting to discover.
You can't. Are you saying you can't get her off your mind?
No, I think no. She's finally done some stuff that's so extreme and hideous and everything like that. I really don't want anything else to do with her. But I kind of would like to know why I kind of like put myself through that for like a year or whatever. You know, it's because when nobody in their right mind would have done that, no matter how good looking or how great the sex was. I just don't think your average, you know, most people would not go through that.
So I don't. What it is you're asking me?
Why would I allow myself to be treated like that for so long? I mean, the simple answer is just amazing sex. But I mean, and I guess that would be my answer. But I mean, there had to be something more to it than that.
You have no idea why you did it?
No, well, I mean, I'm wondering if there's some type of like maybe mind control involved. But now here's another question: could you use hypnosis to find out if someone was under mind control? And I'm talking about not mind control like, because in my worldview, everyone's under mind control if they've ever watched the television or something like that. If you go into hypnosis, then I would be speaking with your unconscious mind rather than your conscious mind, and we get different answers from you. It would depend on what altar you spoke to, maybe. If I had different altars.
Whether we got the answer you're looking for would be another matter. But the reason you put yourself through all of that is because when we're wrapped up with something, it becomes habit forming. You keep doing it because it's just what you keep doing. What we always keep doing. It's like brushing your teeth. You brush your teeth every morning because that's what you've always been doing for years and years. I regularly go into my kitchen to turn on the light, and instead of flicking the switch, I reach up to the ceiling to pull the drawstring when there isn't one, because that's what I've got in the bathroom. And because I'm in the habit of reaching up to pull the string in the bathroom, when I go into the kitchen, I do the same thing. It's because I've got this habit set up of pulling the string in the bathroom.
It's almost as if your body has a memory separate from your mind.
Yeah. It's because I'm confused and probably senile and getting a bit of Alzheimer's or something coming in. I've got this routine set up in my mind to lift up, to pull the string in the ceiling. And so you've just got this habit that's set up in your mind of that woman, and you have to erase that habit. That's all it was. You just kept going to her because you've got this habit set up in your mind. And I was the same with my girlfriend. I dated her for 3 years, and she was treating me like dirt, and all the time I'm saying to myself, and I really loved her a lot, and I loved her son and daughter. They were 14 when I met her. They were 18 at the end. I loved them both. I've still got their picture on the wall here. And she was a lovely Jamaican woman, and she treated me like dirt. And on all the time, I was saying, I'm thinking, I'm seeing no sign that she really loves me. She said she loves me, but I was not feeling it. And for 3 years, I dated her. For 3 years, I spent my money on her. For 3 years, she was asking me for money. And I carried on dating her for 3 years. And I'm thinking, all the time I'm getting shit from her, and I was thinking, sooner or later she's going to push me too far. And for 3 years I said that, and and up, and it took me 3 years before I finally said, "You remember the way in? It's the same way out, and you're leaving."
Yeah.
I put up with that. I put up with that shit for 3 years before I finally just had to say it's over.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of similarities in that situation. You're not making any excuse for that lady, but what if it was also a habit on her part too? She was just in the habit of treating you like shit, so it was just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And at the end of it, she went on her knees and begged me not to throw her out. But for whatever reason, whether she really loved me or not, she certainly put on a good act when she was weeping and begging and pleading with me not to kick her out. It was a good act. Yeah. And it broke me to see her weeping like that. I never want to see that from a woman ever again.
No.
And I will never know whether she really did love me or not, but certainly it was not good what was going on for those 3 years. But it had to end because I couldn't live like that.
I can't live like that either.
And that's why I've been single ever since for 17 years of it. Well, I don't know.
That's where we differ a little bit, because I've gone looking for greener pastures and met a couple people, so it's not the end of the world.
But it's a habit. You're in the habit of, but you just got to break that habit and say no.
I already have. I'm not going to tell you how long ago, because there's reasons I'm not going to tell you how long ago. But no, I really have broken the habit now.
Well, okay.
It's just like you did. After a certain amount of time or after so much bad treatment, you just fuck it, man. You know what I mean?
It's enough.
You got enough.
It's gone on for too long.
Yeah.
It's the same with a smoker. People keep lighting those cigarettes and they know they shouldn't do it, but they just keep doing it until one day they just got to quit, because every smoker knows it's a stupid thing to be doing. They will always justify smoking. They will always say, "I need my cigarettes. I need to smoke. I've got to do this." Mm-hmm. Nobody's got to do it. Nobody needs to smoke. Nobody enjoys smoking. It's bullshit.
Well, maybe they could switch to vaping.
Well, vaping is just as bad, because that will give you popcorn lung. Vaping is just as dangerous as tobacco.
Oh, is it? Do they get that nicotine that's in vaping? Do they get that from tobacco?
Yes. Vaping is as dangerous as tobacco, and they're paying the doctors in England, in the BMA, the British Medical Association, to say it's safe, and it's not. They're paying them, just like they used to pay doctors to say that smoking is good for your health. They used to say it was a lie.
Oh yeah. Except instead of the pharmaceutical companies spreading the lie, it was the tobacco companies.
Yeah, and now that tobacco companies are losing their marketplace with tobacco, they're paying the doctors to say that vaping is safe, and it's not.
And but another thing that's going on is the cigarette and tobacco companies are moving into third world countries. Smoking is still huge in little Africa and shit like that. Yeah,
and the marketplace is always the same as it's always been. Children. They're marketing to children.
Yeah, you're more mature. You're adult. You're suave and all this stuff. If you smoke cigarettes,
their marketplace is not adults, because adults are going to die. That is not a good marketplace, because the adults have all got cancer. They're going to die. So it's not sensible to be spending your budget on adults, because they're going to die. You need to be spending your budget on as young a marketplace as you can. So children and babies are where you're spending your advertising dollar, if you're in the tobacco business. And that's the way it's always been. That's why they make it look cool to kids and babies.
By showing adults, because what they got on them is, what does every kid want to be? An adult.
Yes, that's right.
And they start seeing themselves as adults long before they're adults. And then even after they're adults, they see themselves as adults when really they might be in an adult body, but they're really just a grown-up kid.
Yes. It makes me sick when I see smokers and people who are vaping, because I think, do you know how stupid you look?
It does.
How long did you have to practice to be the way? And I congratulate you because I haven't seen you smoking or vaping today.
No.
Well done. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Have you actually given it up?
Oh, it was a different type of vaping. I don't know how much you know about Colorado.
No, nothing.
Well, in Colorado, there's 3 states in the United States where smoking marijuana is legal.
Yes.
And Colorado's one of them.
Yeah, okay.
And so they have these cartridges that are from Colorado, and so you can imagine what's in them.
Mm.
But no, I almost never do that stuff.
No.
It appealed to me when I was younger, I guess.
I don't mind marijuana, but I'm not too sure that you should be smoking marijuana. I think you should be taking it any way other than smoking because that burns your lungs.
Yeah, I'm not even doing marijuana because I just I think I outgrew it or something. It doesn't seem to appeal to me like the way that it used to in past years.
I did have some. I've never done marijuana. I did drink some hemp milk last week. That was quite nice. That's really good for you.
Okay, so it's got those CBGs. Is that what they call CBGs? Cannabinoids?
No, it didn't have any in it.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the psychoactive stuff. I'm talking about the good stuff that's good for your health.
I didn't have any of that in it.
Oh, okay.
Because it was just pure hemp.
Yeah. Well, that's what there's all these health products now that have CBDs in it called cannabinoids, and it doesn't have any of the stuff that gets you high. It just has the stuff that has the medicinal qualities.
There's no THC in it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. The cannabinoids are not THC. They're the stuff that have the health aspects to it. So I mean, if you're drinking some hemp milk, I mean, you'd assume that. But I just found out about these CBDs. I mean, just 2 days ago. So I didn't.
Well, I don't know if it had CBD in it, but certainly no THC.
Yeah. Yeah. See, THC is just one of the cannabinoids. It's tetrahydral, whatever cannabinoid. There's like 160 other ones that don't get you high that have these medicinal qualities to it. Apparently.
Well, there are 99 varieties of hemp that don't have THC.
There you go.
Mm.
And they give it to cancer patients. Is that right? Or do they do that there? They do that.
Not in England. They don't.
Oh, okay.
Because it wouldn't be profitable. They give them radiation in England.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that's the only thing they give them.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing they give them here, unless you live in California, Oregon, Washington, or Colorado.
Years ago I had a rash on my arm that I'd had for years, and it was cracked skin. It was bleeding. Really annoying for years, and I went and bought some hemp cooking oil, low grade hemp it was, cooking oil, and I put it on my arm because my friend in Australia was always telling me about hemp being wonderful stuff. So I bought some low grade hemp cooking oil, rubbed it on my arm in the evening. Next day, I looked at my arm, and it totally healed up. I couldn't believe it, and I'm thinking I must be looking at the wrong arm. It completely healed up overnight. It was amazing.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: all in all, on part 3 and part 4, you saw the Tim Rifat material, and we don't. It doesn't matter if Miles is friend with them or whatever. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that what he's saying is true?
Well, he was talking about killing the Rothschilds. Now, if it was true, they'd all be dead now, wouldn't they?
Well, I don't think that he's killed all of them, and I don't know how many voodoo spells you have to do to kill one of them. But you've got a good point. He's always talking them down and say, I don't know if he's killed some of them. He hadn't killed very many of them, I don't think. How
many Rothschilds are there?
I don't know. There's a lady in the truther community that's supposedly a whistleblower, and I think her name is Ayin Thropos, and I think she's actually one of them. But no, you're, you've got a good point. The Rothschilds are still calling the shots, regardless of Tim Rifat.
Yeah.
But one thing that's interesting that what you said when you worked at the technological company back in the 70s that was working with radio technology, and you said you had to prove that you put it in a metal box and everything. That is somewhat reminiscent of a Faraday cage that keeps radiation out. But go ahead.
It was a Faraday cage we used.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Well, also Tim Rifat, I think it was in episode 1 or number 2, the MI5 supposedly he had been living in a metal box for years, supposedly.
Yes.
And they came, they came and ripped all that shit up. Well, they went in there and he went in there and showed the damage. So somebody ripped it up, and but apparently he was living in a metal box for a long time. I don't know.
Yes, and we had to put things inside Faraday cages, or we had to terminate microwaves with a correct load to dissipate all the radiation, so that the people across the road and us didn't get radiated by microwaves. And
you mean you'd run a biphasic wave, or some type of cancellation wave?
No, a microwave guide. When you have microwaves, you would the microwaves are guided down things that look like rectangular tubes. It's literally would be like, it would have been about a 2.5 centimeter wide by about a 0.5 centimeter rectangular tube, and the microwaves go along that tube. They're guided through that tube. And if the tube is open, the microwave would just shoot out the end of the tube, so it would just travel through the air.
Like a laser.
And like a laser. But to prevent that happening, we would bolt onto the end of that tube a solid metal piece. Okay. And it would have to be correctly tuned, so it would have to be the right length, so that metal would absorb all of the radiation. It's called a load. And it might be that long, for instance,
the load
or a bit longer.
It's some type of potential, I guess, a load.
Yeah, yes, it's a piece of metal. It's got do you know what a flange is? You've heard of a flange?
Yeah, I know what a flange is. It's like something that we'll say, for instance, in plumbing, a flange is something that kind of like covers something. It has like two. I mean, I don't know.
A flange is two circular plates that come together, and you put bolts through it to hold it. So you'd have a flange together, and you get this long piece of metal coming out of one end of the flange, and the microwaves would come into the piece of metal, and the metal would absorb all the radiation. So we'd have to make sure that we terminated all the waveguides to absorb all the radiation.
So I've got this question, and knowing that I'm not have a degree in physics or anything like this. After you've been testing all day, say you've been running that thing all day, and it's absorbed all the radiation, and then you turn it off, and then you come back the next day, would there still be radiation in that metal piece?
No, not once you turn it off.
Okay, it just goes away instantly.
Well, no, the metal absorbs the radiation and turns it into heat.
Oh, and then the heat dissipates.
Yes, it cools down.
Okay, fascinating. Okay.
Yeah.
So, earlier I was going to ask, which would been a foolish question, if microwaves are big or small, but obviously they're tiny, or they wouldn't be called microwaves.
Well, they're called microwaves because they're very short wavelengths. Okay. You imagine waves like this. They could be very long waves, or they could be very short waves.
Are they sine waves? Are they square waves? Are they sawtooth waves? Are they reverse sawtooth waves? Or can they be any and all of the above?
Well, no, they're pulses, aren't they?
But you know that waves come in shapes, right?
Yeah. Well, they're not sine waves. They're squares.
They're square waves. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Pulses.
They're pulses. They're
that's
very
why you
sharp
have
pulses.
PWM, pulse width modulation. You see,
yes,
some of these.
That's right.
I have a degree in sound technology, so actually a lot of these concepts are the same. they're related
Yes.
somehow. Yeah.
They're pulses. They're not smooth waves like a sine wave. That's
And they're not sawtooth waves either.
They're not they're sharp.
And they're not triangular
pulses.
waves. Yeah, yeah. They're
They are pulses.
yeah, and another word for that is square wave.
Yes.
And because in sound we have the exact same type of waves that y'all have in the.
Although they're not square waves because they're very short pulses.
Well, I think that they're still. I could be wrong, but they may still be called square waves just because of that 90-degree angle.
Yes.
Because you said they're rectangular, so. But I don't know. But I'm just saying in sound. These are
yeah, but a square wave would be like this. But
it can be shorter too. It can be a rectangle. They're calling it square just because it has 90-degree angles.
It's more of a blip than a square.
Yeah, it's just the squares are very far apart. Maybe.
Yes.
Or it's a pulse. Oh, yeah, it's a pulse. Yeah, it's a pulse wave. Right. Okay. I'll have I'll have to look into it. I need to be more knowledgeable about this stuff anyway.
Let me see if I can find a sample for you.
Yeah, good call. Let's put it up on the screen.
Microwave image. And of course, I get loads of pictures of microwave ovens.
Yeah.
Exactly what I expected.
Uh-huh. Well, what the search that I put in is, okay. A square wave is a pulse wave, but not every pulse wave is a square wave. It's like that, just like a square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square. So they're in the same family or whatever. And in music and synthesizers and stuff like that, they have this one, concept or one, aspect of it, and these synthesizers pulse width modulation, which affects the sound.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I put in microwave millimeter wave, and straight away I got cancer. Millimeter wave body scanners in airports heat your body at the cellular level the same way a microwave oven heats up a bowl of soup. A World Health Organization report reveals the waves not only heat the skin but can also damage eyesight and cause cancer, especially skin cancer.
Wow. Did you know that when you travel in airports, at least in the United States, we have that TSA that's so notorious, but did you know that you don't have to go through that machine?
Yes, they can give you a pat down instead.
Well, they don't always do that. Really, what they do is they just send somebody over to talk to you. Or that's what happened to my friend who went to Peru with us. We went through the machine. He didn't want to, and he said because something about his daughter, or that he was going to have kids or something like that. But and they really what they do is they of course they can pat you down if they want to, but they kind of do a psychological profile on you. Hey, is this guy a nut? I mean, he's not doing what everybody else does. Is he an anarchist or what? That's just kind of. I didn't go through the questioning, but that's just kind of the impression I took away from it.
Yeah. Oh, here's some pictures of microwave guides.
Let me grab my bowl right quick.
You're what, sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can edit that out. Just wanted to eat some of my rice.
Yeah.
eat your beans today?
I went crazy today and I bought some chicken at the takeaway.
Oh yeah, you ate out. That's good to do every once in a while. Did it feel good or taste good?
Yes, but it's not good if you have cancer. I shouldn't do it.
Why?
Because cancer loves all the fat in chicken.
Oh, okay.
I shouldn't do it.
I quit eating pork.
Yeah.
Because my roommate, like I said, he's Canadian, but he was born in India, and I don't know, there's people in different parts of the world that would never even consider eating pork. So they say the Germans eat a lot of pork.
Yeah.
I've heard. So maybe since I don't eat pork anymore, I guess that means I can't eat my can of pork and beans. That's an American favorite. Pork and beans, but no, I'm eating beans, but I know that you like pinto beans, but what the type of canned beans that I usually get is black beans. Are those popular over there?
I don't know.
I don't know, what kind of bean it is, but they call them black beans, and
I don't think I've ever seen them.
Well, it may not be popular over there. But I think they're popular over here, but also at least more in the the West or the Southwest or whatever.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do with this recording?
We're going to make a video out of it. I mean, not the stuff at the beginning where we were talking about what, but the interesting stuff like, when we're talking about, 5G and all that stuff. And of course, Tim Rifat, because I've been fascinated by the Tim Rifat information. I haven't really come to a conclusion yet what I think. I mean, because it's definitely outlandish, all the claims.
Where does he get those crystals from, I wonder?
That's a good question, but I think he's also doing something to them. And and I don't think he sells them anymore. But this guy, Megami, from the Balkan alchemist, he bought some from Tim Rifat, and he bought all of Tim Rifat's books and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not like just Mr. Tim Rifat fan. He said, and he even said it on that interview, that he thinks like Tim Rifat's gone crazy or something like that because he's trying to do this alone. He said you can't go do this Superman shit. It's because of this programming or whatever, movie programming, comic books and shit like that. That people one man against the world and everything like this. And I think there is some definitely imprinting like that. But he thinks Tim Rifat's crazy to try to do this stuff alone. That you should be working in groups of people. And I don't think he really advocates the murder of people by psychic warfare or whatever either, or at least he doesn't claim to. But one of the things that he was claiming, and I thought he was talking about some leader over there in the Balkans, but it turns out he was talking about some YouTuber. Mm-hmm. That he's got a friend, he says that has a lot of time on his hands and is rich and everything like that got really into this Tim Rifat stuff, and they bought a bunch of stuff and started attacking this guy, this YouTuber. And apparently this YouTuber, he did pranks or something. I don't know if he was like a guy who's from the Balkans or if he was from some other country. There's parts I didn't understand. But the guy, he does pranks on people or did pranks on people. And he was also somewhat of a self-stylized ladies' man. Well, by the time Megami's friend got finished with this dude, he was hanging out with gay midgets.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you can make put a voodoo spell on the Rothschilds and make them hang out with gay midgets, but that's a far cry from assassination.
Yes, this seems a strange way to spend your life.
With gay midgets or making people hang out with gay midgets or both?
Yes, making people hang out with gay midgets.
It really does, yeah. Well, there's another strange thing that this guy does, and I had to get this straight in the interview because I couldn't understand it. And this guy comes from a very privileged family, but one thing he likes to do is jump into dumpsters and clean himself off with trash. And so I was like, and then Megami made him realize that he made a mistake in telling me that because he didn't want to talk about that. In other words, that wasn't, he went into this little speech about, everybody sees the Matrix differently or something like that, and that was neither here nor there. But it was just so bizarre that I had to question him about it.
Yeah. So why were they doing that interview in a graveyard, by the way? Any idea?
Who did? Oh, good question. And I really don't know, and I'm not sure if they really spoke about that. But I heard somebody say that the lighting was good and everything like that. But I would assume maybe getting some power off of the dead.
Well, it was on a ley line as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure that had a lot to do with it, maybe to send out some protection or something. And another thing, I've heard Tim Rifat reference his different cohorts or friends or the people that are associated with him, calling them vampires, as if he hangs out with vampires. And I don't think he means like the blood-sucking type. But there's this whole energy transfer deal that, is there something like that going on with hypnotism, do you think? Energy transfer?
Not with hypnotism, no.
Okay. But apparently or supposedly there's like with Reiki or Reiki, I don't know how to say it, that healing shit that people do, Reiki?
Reiki.
What is your opinion of that?
With Reiki is using energy to heal people, and with all the healing arts, it's with Reiki, with Qigong and Tai Chi, it's all energy transfer. But with energy transfer, you can also drain people's energy. That might keep you because you do talk a lot about energy vampires. You ever been around those people? You feel like they're draining your energy because they're so negative and that kind of thing. And you ever been around people that you don't want to be around because you feel like you're worn out after you've been around them?
Yes, I have been around people like that.
And you call them energy vampires.
Yeah, well, conversely, could there be energy vampires, people that make you feel great? You really want to be around them, but you notice that once you leave their presence, you're just tired. You just don't have any more, it's good. So I would agree that your most common type of energy vampire is a negative type person, but I would assume it could go the other way too. You feel uplifted when you're around them, but then you're just...
they're not vampires. Creatures that take. A vampire is like a leech. It takes your energy. A vampire doesn't give anything.
Well, on the concept of vampirism, I came up with this concept myself, and I don't know that it's true. It's just a mind. It's just something that came into my mind. But we're often presented with a duality. In other words, good versus evil, man versus woman, or something like that. When a lot of times the true reality is actually more gray, or is there ever a third option? They never want to tell you about the third option.
You're somebody who gives is a light.
Or a battery. What if they're a battery?
Batteries are full of...
I lost you there for a second, Keith. Did I freeze up? You froze up.
Yeah. They're light workers. A battery is full of acid. A battery is just a chemical thing.
No, but I didn't mean like a battery, like that you put in your flashlight. I'm talking about more of a on the concept of a battery, like a human battery, if there's such a thing,
No, I don't think that's a good analogy.
Well, I didn't come up with it. It was one of my psychics did, but or somebody like. And so what I think maybe now. First, let me ask you this: do you believe that there are psychics? And I don't even know that psychics is really the right word because that term's been kind of maligned. But do you believe that there are such things as psychics?
Psychics, and what do you mean by psychic?
Well, right. So what does it mean? Now, how about this? What about remote viewing? Do you think there's anything that anyone's ever remote viewed anything?
Well, absolutely. Otherwise, how would we have people knowing what's on the backside of the moon and knowing what's going on Mars? There have been so many cases where people have remote viewed things, and later on it's been proven they've remote viewed things on Mars, and then when the explorers have got up there, they've confirmed what's been remote viewed.
Yeah, well, to me that's not a very good example, because there's a lot of shit about Mars and the moon that I do not believe. But if we were to use the example of, say, like a Soviet missile base, and somebody, no, I do believe in remote viewing. I believe that there's something to it.
Well, so do I.
Right. And so the idea has come about, and I've heard this somewhere. This is not an original idea that I had. I've heard it on, I guess, some conspiracy show or something, that remote viewing is just a modern term for psychic. It's just the same thing. And Tim Rifat has not said that, but one thing that, you keep these, like remote viewing, psychic warfare and all this stuff, or maybe even Reishi, this idea of the energy. Okay, well, one thing that Tim Rifat is saying is that the old way of what they're doing, like with Sorcerer and stuff like that, they find people who have psychic abilities, and then they like mind control them and make them do all this stuff. Well, but what we're dealing with is the idea that some human beings have more of this energy than others do. And would you agree with that? I'm not trying to get you to agree with that. I'm just saying the idea. I mean, does that resonate with you?
Well, some people are better at remote viewing than others, certainly.
Yeah, but does that mean that they have more energy, or more? Let's talk about energy, or not light workers. Light workers. Do they have more energy than somebody who's? I guess they would have more energy than a vampire, wouldn't they?
Well, no. It's not about energy. I think it's about the ability to channel the energy. The energy is out there. It's available. It's coming from the cosmos, where there's infinite energy.
Okay,
it's the ability to channel that energy and direct it.
Why don't the vampires just get it from the cosmos? Why do they get it from people?
I don't know. I'm not an expert on vampires.
Yeah. Okay.
From what I've been finding out, that the reason that some of these extraterrestrials are interested, particularly in us, is that we're very interesting, because we have something that a lot of these extraterrestrials don't have. We have some kind of a soul, which makes us very special.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we got what they don't have.
Yeah,
that's why they're interested. It's not because we're worthless pieces of shit and they're trying to help us or something like that. It's really they want something that we got.
Yeah, I mean, we were made, my understanding, and based on a lot of speculation, not by me but by lots of other people, is that we've got this very special DNA strand, 97% of it which we don't understand, which
so they call it junk.
So, well, we call it junk.
I don't call it junk. I said they call it junk. I don't call it junk.
Yeah, but we don't understand what that other 97% is, but it's very special, and it's got some incredible capabilities. And there have been many times in my life when I've had some insights and glimpses on the power of that 97%. And I think there are a lot of people on this planet, people like the Illuminati and the Vatican, who know about that 97% and know the power that it has, and they don't want us to know.
Yeah, and so this goes, once again, goes right along with what Tim Rifat's saying. And what he's saying is that okay, so you're maybe either psychic or you're not, but you don't have a surplus of this energy if you're not psychic. But one way that some people get it, who are these Satanists or Luciferians, is they're doing these rituals and mistreating these children, and that somehow gives them some of this energy. What do you think about that? Or do you just think they're a bunch of sick fucks that just...
Well, yes. Well, it's interesting you say that, because I think the reason they do the things that they're doing with children and by torturing people and that kind of stuff is because when they do that, they're taking these children and babies and people they torture through a crisis, and when they go into that crisis, they're opening a window. And I've been through that crisis myself, when a window opened, and at that time, my spirit was separated from my physical body, and I went into a place where I had my near-death experience, and that was caused by a very intense, which I didn't plan, but it was caused by a very intense crisis involving severe trauma and pain, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And unfortunately for me, it wasn't done by being tortured or sexually abused, or for a baby by having the kind of things that MK Ultra does to babies, and all the kind of things that go on that unfortunately I know about and you know about, don't you?
And so there is a science. And so what happened to you was a natural, organic. You got in a motorcycle wreck.
Yes.
Yeah. And so,
but at that moment, a window opens, and with me it opened because when I was going through that process, it got to a point where I reached a moment, and I used my mind. In that instant, I just said, "Okay, this is it. I'm letting go. I'm putting myself in your hands." Now, when I said your hands, I didn't know who I was talking to. Whether it was God, Creator, whoever, the cosmos. I was flying through the air. I'd done all I could do. I knew that whatever was going to happen next might be, well, most likely was going to be very painful, was probably going to involve my death.
You dissociated.
So I dissociated. I just said, okay, that's it. I can do no more. My hands are out like this. I said, okay.
That's it.
I'm up for it. That's it.
Okay, well now
here we go.
If there would have been somebody there, like with bad intentions or something, or or if you would have been being tortured instead of got the motorcycle wreck, that would be the point where they would maybe shatter your personality into different alters.
Yes, probably, and at that point, the people that are doing that to these people, I'm only speculating that they have an opportunity to step through a portal. And a similar thing happened when I was with my mother on the 9th of July last year when she died. Mm-hmm. Because at that point I was aware that I was in a portal halfway between Earth and halfway between another place. And I had can you still hear me?
Yeah.
And I was very much aware.
My headphones.
I was very much aware that I was in a place like a staging post. I was much aware. I was in the nursing home room with my mother. She was on the bed, and I was aware that I was in a transition, and I felt like I was in a different place because I was half here, I was half there. I knew that my mother was going to take her last breath, and I felt that there were spirits in that room that were coming to take her, and I was halfway between here and there. I knew that there were magical things, magical is the best word I can think of. I was aware that I was in a changed environment because my mother was going at that point. So I was, and because I wasn't a party to the secret knowledge, I was not able to manipulate that situation to do who knows what power could I have gained from that if I'd had the knowledge that the people in the Vatican have, and all those, and the knowledge that the Illuminati have, and what tiny thing would have been I needed to do or say to do who knows what in that situation.
Like maybe send your mom in the right direction. Not saying that she went in the wrong direction, but it's sure that she went in the right direction. Maybe you could have done that, or maybe you could have.
Well, 8 months earlier, I was in a position to help her because 8 months earlier she was in the hospital dying, and she stopped breathing 3 times that night. That was on the 25th of August. No, was it 25th or? No. 8 months earlier it was the 25th of. What was it? Let me think. Let me calculate. It was. She died on 25th of. Died on the 9th of July. So it's January, February, March, April, May, June, July. That's 7 months. I think it was on the 25th of November she died. Yeah, but that was 8 months earlier, and she stopped breathing 3 times at night. And I said to her that night, I said, Debbie will come to help you go over and go towards the light with her. Don't be worried. She's going to come and help you cross over, because I know about these things. So on that occasion, I did know what to say and do. I said, Debbie's going to come and help you cross over, and just go whenever you're ready, Mum.
Is Debbie your sister?
My dead sister. She died when she was 27. We were talking about her earlier. I think she was murdered.
Right, yeah.
And when I said that, my mother's face lit up like somebody was shining a torch in it, and the age drained away from her face. She looked like a 22-year-old.
Wow.
And I remember thinking she looked like a 22-year-old.
Wow.
And at that moment, she started breathing again.
Wow.
And her face totally lit up, and I thought I was imagining it because, she was dying at that moment, and she'd stopped breathing 3 times that night. And eventually I had to leave, and I was weeping at this point because I'm thinking I'm just dreaming this, because I knew she was going to die that night because she was dying of Alzheimer's. But she loved my sister so much, and she never got over my sister dying. But when I left, I thought I won't be seeing my mother again. But the next thing I heard is that she'd rallied, she'd gained strength, and she'd be taken out of the hospital and be put into a nursing home. And she lived for another 8 months, living without eating. We had trouble forcing her to eat a mouthful of food a day. She wasn't eating for 8 months. And when she finally died, 8 months later, this will amaze you, she died at 2:22 p.m. on the 9th of July 2017. And a voice in my head said, check Dad's watch. And I said, Dad, what's the time? And Dad got annoyed. He said, what difference does the time make? Because she just died, And I said, well, come on, Dad, tell me the time. It's important. What time? And it was 2:22. And I thought about that for a long time. What is the significance of that time? And 222 is an important number in numerology. I didn't know anything about numerology, but I looked it up. 222 is an important number in numerology. It's also an angel number. And if you take 22, now 22 is the date of her birth. She was born on the 22nd day of November. And if you divide 22 by 2, that gives you the 11th month, November. Now, if you look back again, 8 months earlier, I was telling her that Debbie would come to help her cross over. Now, 8 months earlier, I was born in August. That's the 8th month. And the day of the month when I was visiting her 8 months earlier was the 25th day of the month. So that's my birthday, 8 months earlier. So there's 2 birthdays there. Do you see the significance of that? She died at the precise time that would, if we work it out, give us my birthday and her birthday. Do you think she was giving me a signal there?
Or the cosmos was. I mean, there's definitely something to it. And now one number that is a divisible, a divisor of 222 is the number 37.
Oh, I don't understand.
37 times some other number is 222. 37 times some number is 111. 37 times some number is 333. 37 times 400, times some number is 444. In other words, all going up to at least 999. All of those numbers are dividable by the number 37.
Okay, right.
It stands to reason that 37 is a pretty powerful number because we know these other numbers are very powerful. 999, 888, 777, 666.
Mm-hmm.
They're powerful numbers.
Yeah, so I think that my sister came to her that night 8 months earlier, and because she saw my sister, that gave her the strength to recover and live another 8 months.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
When my grandmother died, she was 99 years old. She was like a few days away from being 100 years old.
Yeah.
But it was in 2005, and it was when I got arrested this last time when I went to prison. She died like 5 days later. I was the only thing she was living for, you know what I mean? And then she just gave up hope after I got put in prison or, got arrested.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that there's a relationship, you know what I mean? Because I was her favorite, grandchild and everything like that.
She didn't die. She's still there.
Yeah, that's what they say. But I do actually feel like that my dad is with me. And my dad died, and I don't think he's with my brother. I think he's with me. And my dad likes nice shit and nice houses and stuff. And look where I live. You know what I mean? That could be a coincidence. So, I feel for some reason and me and my dad got in an argument about something stupid. I mean, a little bit before he died. And I got mad and I hung up the phone on him or something like that. And then he called me back. He said, "Why did you hang up the phone on me?" I said, "Oh, I was mad." He said, "Don't do that." He said, "We're in this together."
Yeah. And you still are.
I know it. I was like, what? There's some type of agreement there somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're lucky you had him. I've got no relationship with anybody in my family. They all think I'm a waste.
Well,
they don't know any of the good stuff I've done. They refuse to hear it. They won't listen to any of my radio shows. Nothing.
I'm trying to think if this was Tim Rifat. His name keeps coming up. But somebody who said this, I was watching this interview. And no. It was this guy Magami. A very strange idea. I've never heard this before. He said people think the Illuminati is this pyramid, this Illuminati pyramid and everything. He said that's not what the Illuminati is.
Yeah.
He said the Illuminati is your parents and your teachers.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then, I've often thought that before. Who is the main people that teach you fear? All the fears that you've got. Your teachers and your parents.
Yes.
Something to think about. And, not saying that they're intentionally doing this, but what if, and he's talking about demons and stuff like that, but of course, some people believe that everyone has demons or diamonds, whatever you want to call it. But it's a provocative idea.
Yeah.
And it's even a weirder idea. I mean, as far as I know, you don't have kids. And as far as I know, I don't have kids. So does that mean we're not in the Illuminati? Because if we had kids, if we'd be in the Illuminati at least for our kids, it's.
I hope not.
Well, I hope not either. But I mean, you got to admit it is what Magami said. I'm not saying it's true or that I believe it, but it does kind of give you pause for thought, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird, man.
Weird
idea. I mean, I don't like the idea either. And most people wouldn't like that because they love mom and dad, and everything, and like a lot of their teachers. But what it's just weird. It's a weird idea.
Yeah. So Miles was in Brighton.
I don't know.
He was. That was filmed from Brighton. He was that close. He could have come up to see me.
Yeah, no shit. And And
I wish I'd known.
I think he's had some problems recently, even just with traveling expenses, getting to some of these film tapings and everything. But he has said recently in a video, or not in a video, on Facebook, he was like, was having some problems and maybe he's complaining a little bit, not so much about personal problems, even though they were related, but, having to do with his investigations and stuff. And he said, 80% of the people out there are, just a waste or something like that. Kind of a negative comment. And then he said, but I don't know why I do this anymore. And then I wrote a comment to put in the comment section. Two things. I said, do it for the other 20%, if there's 8, whatever. And then the next thing I said is, or better yet, just keep doing it because that's what you do. And like what we were talking about earlier, and you were talking about those habits and stuff like that. People, what does a blacksmith do? He does blacksmithing. You know what I mean? What does a horse racer do? He does horse racing. So it's almost as if we're put here on this plane or something to do something. And sometimes there just doesn't need to be a reason.
Yeah, the only thing I don't do is make any money. Never make any money. I'm really struggling.
I am too, and that's why. I'm totally trying to redouble. Yeah, I've had a lot of money problems here just very recently, even including today. There's supposed to be a closing on my house today, but it got put off to the 31st. But anyway, yeah, and I've been trying to get real, putting whatever mind control or whatever on myself, because I've got a couple new websites, but I mean they're not making any money yet. You know what I mean? So it's just I have been struggling, not with, of course, with money, real money, but also with, I don't want to, go work a job or something like that. You know what I mean? So, but I need to be generating more revenue, and and you and I have talked a number of times about trying, different ways to monetize, your hypnotherapy and stuff. And so it's just, we're always, thinking about.
I'm living in a place where I'm getting attacked by my neighbours. I need to move out from here. I need to be living in a proper house. I need to be living in a penthouse. I don't need to be living in a slum anymore. I've lived in a slum my entire life, and this is why I'm not succeeding, because I'm living with demons.
You're absolutely right. And there's another thing on the 48 laws of power, that don't go around people that are like unlucky. And it just puts it like that. And I think, and so by the, that you're not getting enough revenue or whatever, it's kind of forced you in a position to be right there with those people, and maybe you're getting bad energy off that. Well, I'll edit this out of the video, but let's explore some ideas. We can monetize your services. I know. I just feel like
if I could move out of here and just move into a decent pad. If I could move from here and move into an apartment next to the River Thames, overlooking the river, then I could immediately get clients because I'd be in a place that represents who I am.
Okay. Well, what about this? Run a personal ad, like an ad, like on Craigslist or something like that. Maybe just pitching the idea, and maybe the person because there's people that have just live in big, huge houses that are empty and stuff like that. Maybe this person that wants to need some hypnotherapist services themselves, but also unearthing them the 48 laws of power. You never appeal to people out of a sense of mercy or anything like that. You appeal to people on ways that they can benefit. Well, and I'm a pretty good idea guy. We put together like an ad for you, saying that that they can partake in some of these profits that you're going to be making. What about that idea? I mean, because it's all right there. You've already got all the skills. You've already know how to got years of experience. You know how to deal with the clients and everything like that. We seem to agree right now that that you can get clients, but one of the main things that seems to be holding you back from getting clients is that you're surrounded by these unlucky people and demons or whatever, and so you need to get away with that. Yeah, and you need to get away from that. I agree, 100%. And so right now you might not have the funds to do that, especially go put down a big deposit, background check and all that shit, So what do you do? Your roommates. See, I just got a new roommate that's moving in here, so you need a roommate. Well, it just so happens you don't have the means to pay the rent. Well, you've got something better than that because you've got a skill set that is profitable, not just profitable as in making a job, but like in being an enterprise. I mean, you could start, if you're in the right place, I mean, you could probably start making, with the right clientele, $1,000 a day. You know, or maybe not at first, of course, but I mean, enough to pay the rent. I think that you should put, but we'll never know unless you put the ad out there and the energy out there. And it just so happens I'm pretty fucking good with the written word. I'll definitely be, and none of this is going to be in the interview, but I'd definitely be willing to help you with that, putting together the ad. And it's possible on some of these lifestyle deals you can even place an ad for free.
Yeah.
Like Craigslist. What do you think about that?
Sounds interesting. But have you? I'm just going to send you a link.
What's it a link of? Or you're not going to tell me? You're just going to send it to me? Or you send it to me right now?
I'm just going to send it. Hopefully.
Okay. Go ahead and send it. I'll take a look at it.
There it is. Can you see it? Blue Ocean Strategy.
I like that. Have you read it yet?
No, I haven't. I'm going to be buying a copy. It was recommended to me in Hyde Park on Sunday.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason that was recommended to you. Was it from a recommendation from a stranger? Was it a recommendation from a stranger?
Well, he was a stranger, but he's a friend now. I went to a picnic in the park on Hyde Park, and I was, a friend of mine invited me to a picnic in the park, and he was a friend of hers who was at the picnic, and he was recommending that book, and I've had a look inside it, and it's a great book about marketing. So I'm going to be buying that, and that may help me develop my business because it teaches you how to be unique in the marketplace, because everybody's chasing their asses trying to compete with everybody else. But that book teaches you how to not compete with everybody else, but be unique in the marketplace.
Well,
so that everybody comes to you.
Let me tell you, there's a lot to be said about that because I have done that, and that's how I was successful in the security camera business and in marketing, in SEO, and the internet. There's a name for that, and it's called niche or niche, depending on how you want to. A niche market. Yeah, so that's what you need to do is create a niche market, and this book looks pretty good. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking I'm going to buy it.
I know what you mean about niche marketing, but this is not niche marketing.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's completely different.
It's creating a niche, though, isn't it? I mean, it may be different from niche marketing, but part of it may be creating a niche because it looks like how to create an uncontested. Yeah. Well, a niche, yeah, you might be competing against people in niche. It's like a super niche. You're creating a market space there nobody's in except for you. And that's kind of what I did with my security camera deal, because everybody else you're buying it, from Tim Jones or something like that. I was and really still am, because me and my roommate are starting it back up, and we're getting him licensed with the state of Texas. The security camera guy. In other words, I referred to myself in the third person, and so I was the. So that's what maybe you should do. That maybe you should be
If you look up the title on Google, you'll find there's a couple of slideshows that explain what it does that were very good.
Well, what about this? Do you understand what I'm saying about referring to yourself in the third person? Maybe I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe it works for me. Maybe it'll work for you. In other words, you wouldn't probably want it to be this, but like, the hypnotherapist guy or the something. There's only one. If it's the deal, then in other words, like if somebody was going around saying this is the doctor, that would mean, well, they're the only doctor in the world. No other all other doctors are irrelevant or something like that. But I mean, that's just an idea. But I think there's a similarity there with the way I was thinking on that third person deal and what this person is saying, because how can you compete with the security camera guy? Who's going to? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Why is it on Amazon that paperbacks cost more than hardbacks?
I have not. That has not been my experience. It's been. Oh fuck! How did that happen? Oh God! How did that happen? Oh, here we go. Okay. Did you hear that?
What?
Did you hear any people talking just then?
No.
I was just getting rid of this Amazon deal, and I accidentally hit that Tim Rifat video, and they started talking, and I'm just wondering if you could hear it, and you can't, and so now I understand that, yeah, you can't, yeah, so okay.
I couldn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, I already turned it off. I didn't want you to hear it. I didn't want to listen to it myself, but I'm trying to determine about this technology, exactly how that worked. But let's see, I'm clicking back on. I mean, I can see you right now, but it's a little. Okay, here we go. I pushed the big screen. Okay, we're both back. But I mean, I wasn't frozen up or anything, was I? You could see me the whole time, right?
Sorry, I wasn't looking.
I just shared a screen with you. I think I just accidentally shared a screen with you. Do you see my screen up there?
Oh, hold on. I can see you. I can't see your screen.
Oh, okay. Well, it just put the screen up there. I can push this button that says screen share. Okay, checked it out. I'll push the button. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want to turn that off. But anyway, that would be another way. Huh? That's interesting. I wonder what that looks like on video. Like right now on the video, is it showing me on one side and then my screen on the other? I don't know. I need to take note of the time and figure this out. But I'm going to turn that feature off.
And I don't look too good.
Yeah. What doesn't look too good?
I don't. I'm all overexposed.
Well, it was just, for some reason, it doesn't seem like it was like that earlier. Oh, and I don't know that this had anything to do with it, but I just got a warning on my computer. It's from Call Recorder. It says Call Recorder warning. Oh, now you look better. Are you just making adjustments right now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it looked better when you took off some of that light. It brought more color into your skin. But it says, Call Recorder warning. This Mac is not running fast enough to record the video from this call. The recording frame rate will be lowered to compensate. Whatever, who cares?
How do I look? How do I look?
About 100% better than you did about like 5 minutes ago, because you've got color in your skin now. Yeah, you did good on that. And that's one kind of problem I have over here, because I have all these lights and shit. That's why I was putting on that earlier.
Yeah, so I think I'll be buying that book.
Yeah.
Shall I get the Kindle version or shall I get the hardback?
I'm gonna get the Kindle version. And I'm gonna check my little deal right here to see. Oh, for some reason it did that again. It put the deal like where I could share the screen up again. But what I'm gonna do?
When I die, what happens to all the Kindle books I've bought?
They're just. I don't know that they're. It would depend on if you had downloaded them or not. But as far as like the ownership of them, then that's a very good question, because it's intellectual property and you've bought it, so you should be able to leave them in a will to somebody, in my opinion.
Yes.
And I think that you can.
You'd have to tell someone what the password is, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and that would be a good thing to research. But yeah, And gosh, it must be late there. Our conversation, and certainly I should be able to get at least, maybe a 40-minute to an hour video out of this. We've been talking for 2 hours and 44 minutes. I think we talked about some pretty interesting stuff too.
Yeah, good. Yeah. I think the most interesting thing we talked about possibly is when we were talking about how can I put it? When we were talking about going through portals at the times of crisis, like they do when they torture the babies and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and this person that we have talked about before, a girl, her psychic or one of her psychics, or a friend of ours, she's just psychic, and I know this lady too. But she has people die around, an inordinate number of people die around her. And this psychic has said that she is a portal of death. So I thought that it was interesting that we were talking about death, dying, and portals. And then also this person that we talked about before. And she had somebody died at her house just a month ago. And
really?
Yeah. He was a worker. He was a contractor. And he was working on her bathroom and with his son. And she had just come home. The dude just fucking dropped flat over dead. Died. And then all the EMS. She did CPS on him or whatever. CPR on him for like 15 or 20 minutes or something. Was totally worn out, Or less than that, because the EMTs did get there real quick.
Was he saved?
No, he's dead. He died right there in her house.
What did she do to him to make him die?
She didn't. She came home. She walked in like seconds right before he just dropped, and his son was right there. But I don't know that she didn't, because I think that she's a programmed multiple. As a matter of fact, I know she is. I haven't even told you about this eyes wide shut type party. That, there's some bizarre mind control shit going on with her.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it.
Wish this arm of mine would stop hurting.
You wish what?
I wish my arm would stop hurting.
Do some hypnosis on it. Some self-hypnosis.
I am. That's why I'm not screaming.
Sounds like it's some pretty intense pain.
It is. Yeah. I wish I could find out. I wish I had the book wherever it is. If I could go into the catacombs at the Vatican and come out with the book that's got the secret key to that crisis moment where you can step through the portal from here to there, like when I went into my near-death experience. To do that at will, that would be fabulous.
Yeah, without all the torture and all that shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I know you don't need to torture yourself, because I've had periods when because I think I've told you about that time I saved that dead man and brought him back to life.
Yes.
And I wasn't being tortured when that happened.
And neither was he. But was he in a traumatic accident?
Well, he'd just been hit by a car, hadn't he? He was dead. That's fairly traumatic for him.
Yeah, that's pretty traumatic.
And it was traumatic for me at the time, because I was kneeling in the road with cars rolling over my ankles, and I was thinking, any moment I'm going to have my ankles run over by a bus or a lorry or something.
Oh, you mean they were coming close to hitting you?
Yes, because I tried to get the bystanders to close off both lanes of traffic.
But they were too cowardly to act.
No, they refused.
Yeah, they were too cowardly to act.
No, they thought it was important for traffic to keep going.
They thought that the traffic was more important than your life.
Yes.
But if somebody would have hit you, that would have stopped the traffic. Right?
No, they'd have probably just carried on.
And then everyone would just keep running over your body?
Well,
I mean, is that what life's like over there in England?
They wanted to drag him out of the road, and I said, no, he's, polite version, staying. And I tried, because as the first aider, you have to take control of the scene and make sure the scene is safe to begin with. So I pointed at various people. I said, stop the traffic and guide them around the roundabout.
Yeah.
This is an accident scene.
Yeah, but they were
traffic.
cowardly.
But they all
refused.
refused. No, they were just refusing because they were
they
wankers.
didn't all have the same opinion. They didn't. You know, people have different opinions. They were just too fucking scared.
No, they were saying, "Who the hell are you?"
Right? Yeah. They were giving any reason they could come up with to not do it because they were scared. Yep. That's what I think. I mean, you were there. I wasn't there.
No, they weren't scared. They were just being dickwads.
Why?
The traffic, because
people
the traffic,
like people like that.
Because the traffic, the motor car is king.
No, not
that
over
was
here.
Why.
Not over here. People care about life over here.
Ian, listen to what I'm saying. I was there.
I know, but what I'm trying to tell you is people are different over here. People are real in Texas. I'm not saying if that would have happened in Texas, it would have been because the people are cowardly, not because they think that it's important for traffic.
Well, Ian, I'm telling you what was happening there. Yeah, when I was there, this was happening because
it's a fucked up country you live in.
Traffic is king. All they were concerned with was not making waves for the traffic. They wanted the traffic to keep going.
Yeah. It's a fucked up country you live in.
They didn't want to upset anybody in the cars.
Why?
Well, they might blast their horns.
Right, because they're cowards.
Yes. Well, that's it, perhaps. They're cowards.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Well, they didn't want to be involved.
Yeah, because they're cowards.
Yeah.
I know, there's the whole world for cowards.
So I leant down to give first aid with my ankles in the second lane.
Yeah, you weren't a coward. You were the only person out of all that whole crowd that wasn't a coward.
So any one of those people in those vehicles, the one at the front of the front vehicle should have stopped and blocked the traffic.
Yeah, and they were a coward too.
If I'd been the front vehicle, I would have stopped my vehicle in the right-hand lane and blocked it.
They'd be taking less of a risk than those other people, you know.
Yeah, I would have stopped my vehicle. I would have put on my hazard lights, and I would have stood behind my vehicle, and I would have directed the traffic around. If that had been me.
Yeah, because you're a real man, and those are unfortunately pretty rare in this world.
Yeah.
That's just that's just the way it is. Sucks.
Yeah.
How many years ago was this?
I don't know, maybe year 2000, something like that. Yeah.
Man, it must be late over there now. It must be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
4:30.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, and I've got an appointment out of town. I got to be at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
But I think
what is it? 9:30 there, isn't it now?
No, it's 10:33.
10:33. Okay.
That's a pretty good number. 10:33.
So you've been on for 3 hours.
Almost. Hold on. Oh wait. Yeah. 2 hours, 53 minutes, and 14 seconds. So yeah,
okay.
3 hours.
Yeah.
You should be you'd think I should be able to at least get a 30, 40 minute, hour long show out of this. I would think. Interesting show, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Are you going to put it on YouTube, are you?
Yeah. I mean, not the personal stuff.
Will people listen for that long?
Oh, no. They won't. No, not that long. No, that's why I like, for instance, this big one that I had recently that was a 4 hour long talk with Brandon Young. I divided it into 4 parts of one episode.
I've gone too dark now.
A little bit. It still looks a lot better than when it was just all like where you were just like glowing.
Yeah. Hold on. If I put the other light on, I'll probably get I'll be back now. I'm just going to put some more light on. That looks better. Much better.
Yeah, because you've got the backlighting.
Yes.
Forgive me, I'm just checking this real quick.
Excuse my mouth, I was yawning.
That's all right. We can. This little part right here is probably being edited out. It's all right.
Yes, I'm going to buy that book, I think.
I think you should. Gunter, come here. Come here, buddy.
What is that? A light?
A light with a battery. Come here, buddy. Oh, you've been such a creature. Oh, you've been such a creature. Oh.
It's a dog. It's a dog.
Yes. This is
Yeah.
my companion.
Yes, they eat them in Korea.
Yeah, I know it. He's lucky he didn't live in Korea, or he'd end up on somebody's dinner plate. He'd probably feed a whole family at least a couple meals, especially if they made gravy out of him or whatever. He'd last for a few days with you, buddy. Oh, you're so good. Oh, you're my little hugaboo. Yeah, he likes to cheer, and he's not. I hope my roommate doesn't see this. Well, this is my couch. It doesn't matter, but he's technically not supposed to be on the couch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with this little light here. It's got a bunch of little LED lights in it. Looks like
LEDs. Do you know LED lights give you cancer?
No, I didn't know that.
You do now. Look it up. Look it up on Google. LED cancer.
Okay.
LED screens give you cancer. It's because they throw off a blue light, which is really bad.
You're talking about LCD.
No. LED.
No, LED is a light emitting diode. You said screens. You mean like an LCD screen of a TV?
No. Light emitting diodes give you cancer.
Okay, but why did you say screen?
Because you get LED screens as well.
No, they're LCD screens, liquid crystal display. LCD and LED is different.
No, you get LED screens as well now.
No, okay, let's look that up because you're wrong.
No, you get LCD screens and LED screens.
I think you're wrong. Let's look it up.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Television screens.
No, don't worry about it. Google's going to tell us right now.
Television screens have LEDs in them now, as well as LCDs.
I'll have the answer. Okay.
Believe me, they do. Believe me, they do.
Well, I'm going to believe Google. Excuse me, but I'm just going to believe Google. Is there such thing as a LED? And I'm a Samsung certified television technician, and I've never heard of an LED screen. But it's possible very possible you know something that I don't. But my certification is current, and I've never heard of an LED screen. LED TV screen.
Could light from LED screens cause irreversible eye damage?
No, I just want to know, is there such thing as an LED TV screen?
Well, I've got it here.
No, you got to know.
Could light from LED screens cause irreversible eye damage? Newsmedical.net. Prior to your recent study, how much was known about the eye damage light emitted from digital screens can cause? LED screens. There you go.
Oh, you beat me to the answer?
I'm ahead of you.
I'm figuring that out.
LED screens cause irreversible eye damage.
Well, you're absolutely right.
Would you like a copy of this link telling you about how much damage?
I've got a better one. It says LED versus LCD TVs. Explain what's the difference. That's going to be much more informative. And I did not know there was such thing as an LED TV. They must be new.
Why are children particularly at risk of eye damage from LED screens?
They're brand new. They didn't have LED screens 2 years ago. But you've got one right there in your house?
I haven't got one.
Oh, yeah. When you said right there, I thought you were talking about your.
No, I haven't got television. I don't want television.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was in the store seeing LED screens the other day, and just looking at them for moments hurt my eyes. But LED lighting is just as dangerous.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're lethal.
Huh, that's fascinating. Oh, okay. An LED TV is also an LCD TV. The proper term for it would be, you're absolutely right. They have LED TVs, and I did not know that because they're brand new. But
even liquid crystal displays have LEDs behind them.
Not all of them. Not until just recently. It says it right here. And like I told you, brother, I'm a Samsung certified television technician. This shit's brand new. And they have a different name for it. It's OLED, but it still is. It's LED, but the difference is all LED TVs, all LCD TVs, most LCD TVs are not LED TVs because it's brand new. But all LED TVs are LCD TVs because
I've sent you a link.
I don't need one. I got it right here. I know what these. I'm a television technician. I know it.
No. The link is about the damage that they do to you.
Oh yeah. I want to check that out. The proper name for an LED TV would really be an LED backlit LCD TV. Is what they're saying. In other words, you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Yes.
They both use LCD because they're both liquid crystal display. But you're absolutely right. I didn't know there was such a thing. And there has been confusion. Before they had LED TVs, there was a lot of confusion because people would, LED sounds like LCD, and then you had to correct people.
Yeah,
but now
very bad for you. Never use LEDs.
In the United States, everything's going to LED. They got rid of. There's still incandescent bulbs, but they got rid of incandescent all the way.
They've done the same in England, but the reason they've done this is because they know that they give you cancer. It's all part of the depopulation program.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know so much that it's part of the depopulation program, but it's part of the program to shorten our lives. I don't necessarily believe that they want to kill 5 billion people.
It's eugenics.
Well, yeah, that's another aspect of it. There's several aspects to it for sure. I don't, the idea, whatever, Agenda 21 or the depopulation, that they want to kill, that they want to kill 4 billion people. I don't doubt that some people want to do that, but I don't, or that there's even some plans to do that. But I don't think that they're all voting on that. I don't think, because who's going to be the slaves if they get rid of 99% of all the people? Who's going to serve them? You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of these conspiracies.
They want to kill 95% of the people.
Somebody does, but not everybody does.
No, listen to me. They want to kill them because they realize that all those people are dangerous, and there aren't many of the people at the top. So they want to kill them because they realize, as an army, they are dangerous. There's too many of us for them to fight, so they want to kill us all off. They realize.
Then who's going to kill?
They realize we're waking up and that we're dangerous as a force. That's why they want to kill us.
Well, who's going to kiss their ass? If everybody's dead, who's going to be their slaves?
Well, there'll be enough of us left to kiss their ass.
Well,
because most of the manufacturing is going to be done by machine.
True, robotics, but who wants to get their ass kissed by a robot? And they're coming up with better ones all the time. androids and shit like that. But I do believe that there are a lot of these so-called conspiracies and stuff like this are true. Some people do want that, but that the main purpose of some of these conspiracies is to spread fear, to keep people living in fear, because that's one way to keep people down, is just keep them scared all the time, to where they're too scared to even stand out in the middle of traffic and stop some cars.
The fear, they want the fear because the vampires can live off the fear energy.
Yeah, and also people, they want control, and people who are afraid are much easier to control. Much easier to control. And so they just throw a whole world of fear out there. It's a lot, and they don't have to crash the whole world economic system. I mean, if they killed 95% of the people, it would be a total reorganization of everything on every level, and not saying that somebody doesn't want that or they can't do that, but that's probably why they have these underground bunkers and shit like that, because it's not going to be just a clean transition. You know what I mean? It's going to be a lot of, it'd be hell, on Earth.
Yes. But the people at the top are just insane. There's all that inbreeding.
Well, and because they're possessed by demons.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're pretty.
The monarchy are all totally insane. Because they've all been. Can I say the F word? Their cousins and stuff.
Yeah, incest. Yeah, they've been fucking their cousins and shit. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on with all that. The deal with the royals and everything. And of course, I don't know what it is, but I mean, there's. I don't necessarily think the Queen of England turns into a reptile, but there could be something to this, like astral, reptilian shape shifting or something. I just don't know what. I don't know what to think about that.
Yeah.
If people really turn into lizards, I kind of have a problem with that, but I also kind of have a problem believing that somebody can be made to do something and then made to forget it completely, and their whole life go around having an alter.
Well,
life,
that's easy to do. That's easy to do.
They say that is. It's just hard for me to imagine.
With hypnosis, when I hypnotize people, they have no recollection of what they've been doing while they've been hypnotized. I just tell them to forget, and they do. Sometimes I don't even need to tell them to forget, and they forget.
Well, that's one of the main reasons why there's no regulation of hypnosis, because if that was regulated and accepted as something that's whatever mainstream, then the cat would be out of the bag. That yes, you can make somebody forget everything, and people like me who still kind of have some doubts or whatever, wouldn't have those doubts, because we'd all know that can happen, and then everyone would believe in MK Ultra mind control and all that shit. It would and then the whole gig would be up. I mean, that could be one of the most important things that the Illuminati does, is make sure that hypnosis doesn't spread, or general knowledge that hypnosis is real and not just some fake charlatanry. That's very important on their to-do list, is to keep hypnosis subverted.
Well, most people don't believe that hypnosis is genuine, although it is.
And that's by design. They want them to think that.
Yeah.
If you think about it, if the people were allowed to realize that hypnosis is real, the whole game would be over. Because hypnosis is really one of the main aspects of this mind control, I think. Yeah,
but the people in power are using it big time.
On us, yeah, even in subtle ways. I mean, you're the expert, but I think there's kind of like subtle whole spectrum of, how much people are hypnotized. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, everybody's hypnotized all the time.
Yeah, I agree. It almost goes along with that Toltec shamanism that says we're all dreaming all the time. It's just like you and me right now, we're in the waking dream. It's when we go to sleep, we'll be in the sleeping dream. But you're always dreaming.
You think about it. Everybody goes to work, all the working people, that is, goes to work every day to a job they don't like, with people they don't want to be with, for shit money, and they do that every day. Tell me that's not hypnotism.
And the need for money to make ends meet. But it's also dreaming, as the Toltec shamans would say. And is there a difference between dreaming and hypnotism? I don't know. But let me bring up a point. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
Yes.
The old nursery rhyme suddenly
No.
makes a lot more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Life is but a dream.
but think of it this way. Everybody goes to work every day doing the job, don't they? Do your job. Do your job. Everybody. But if everybody was to just wake up from their job, and if everybody was to say, no, I'm not going to do this anymore, wouldn't that be wonderful? Because then we would have to rethink society. We'd have to wake up, and then government would lose their hold.
Yeah, and then the Chinese would come and take everything over.
Well, they're in control anyway, the Chinese.
Well,
they own everything. They own London, the Chinese.
Well, let me tell you, they're moving into Austin quicker than you could think. But I don't have a Chinese person holding a gun to my head and saying, yeah, I'm going to fuck your wife tonight or whatever, and you're going to learn how to speak Chinese. That's what would happen if our government failed. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm a realist. And I've heard these ideas before that, yeah, we just should stop cooperating with the government and, everything we'll all live happily ever after. And I don't think that's what will happen. I think that the Chinese government will come in here and just put troops on the street and they'll just fucking take everything over. And all our names in a couple of generations will be Madam Ching Chang Chow or something like that. I could be wrong. But you ask why these people do these things, and they do it for luxury items, luxury goods, because, once again, hypnotism, they're hypnotized by the TV. They know that they have to have the new Rambler, the new Blazer, the new stereo, all these things that are going to get you chicks. Then you've got the house payments, you've got the taxes, you've got all that shit. And that's the biggest diversion, is just keeping up with the Joneses. Because, the houses that they got now just blow the shit out of the houses that we grew up in and shit. I mean, everything's just fucking, it's like the pharaohs would die to live like most people live now. Would have just given their left nut. I mean, they didn't even have air conditioning, for Christ's sakes. Much less a brand new Land Rover, flying around in jets and shit like that.
Yeah.
The whole pack mentality or whatever. Humans are social beings. And so they want to have the cars, eat at fancy restaurants, and all that shit. There's a whole world of media and stuff that backs that idea and supports that idea, and then they see everyone around them's doing it. What? That's a type of hypnotism itself too. Doing what everybody else does.
Yes.
They're all hypnotized.
Yeah. Thinking about your dog, I had this neighbour had a dog. Didn't eat meat. Do you know why?
Why?
They didn't give him any.
He just ate vegetables. He just ate vegetables?
No, it was a joke.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't eat meat. Why? Because they don't feed him any.
Oh, God. You fucking cruel bastards.
And you're talking about the Chinese, and apparently 1 in 5 people in the world are Chinese, And there are 5 people in my family, so it must be one of them. So it's either my mum or dad, or my older brother Colin, or my younger brother Hot Cha Chu. But I think it's Colin.
I think it is too. Or either that or your mom. Yeah. Hop Chow Chu. Madam Chiang Kai-shek. Ching Chang Chow. They're, I'm definitely not going to put this in the video, but Asian people are pretty racist for the most part.
Are they?
I think they are. For the most part, yeah. In Asian people in general, the way I see it, they are, and of course these are vast generalizations, and I'm not talking about American Asians, but I'm talking about like people in Asia, and I've been over there. Like, well, let me just put it like this. Some of the finest restaurants in Japan, and even a lot of good mid-level restaurants, you and I can't go to.
No?
Because we're
Why's
white.
that?
We're white. It doesn't have signs outside the restaurant. Japanese only. No whites. It says it right there.
Yeah?
Or they did in 1987 when I went there. I mean, if they had that shit here, if they had that in England, people would just be, you know, especially if it said like black people, no blacks or no.
It says Japanese only. So what would happen with that place if you walked in as a white person?
No, I already know because we tried. They don't let you in. No, Japanese only.
Yeah. And supposing you insist.
No, they would have you arrested. This is recognized by their government and stuff. I mean, they are prejudiced. They don't. So the thing is, the Japanese, I mean, Asians, they're whatever black people. I don't want to use the N word. That would be like your Thai people and stuff like that. People like us and Mexicans and white people and black people, they don't even consider them humans. We're just like animals. They have what they call, the N word, and that's just Asian people that they look down on, like people from Thailand or people from Burma or something like that. Or if you're in China, people
supposing you made like Clint Eastwood and pulled out a 45 and held it against their head. Do you think they would serve you?
Yeah, and then as soon as you sat down, they'd go call the Yakuza, and then some guys would show up and that'd be it. The Yakuza, the triads. They run that. That's their Illuminati over there, or it's kind of related. They got a different Illuminati in Russia and a different Illuminati in China.
Yeah. So anyway, Ayin, I was getting into my car, and this bloke said to me, "Can you give me a lift?" So I said, "Sure. You look great. The world's your oyster. Go for it."
Like a facelift.
Shall I read it to you again? I don't think you quite.
No, I didn't. I mean, it just like jokes, like that people tell jokes or whatever. I don't usually think they're that funny.
No.
I mean, I think I got it. Is it like a lift, like either a facelift or lifting them up in society or something like that, or?
Well, how about this one? Police arrested 2 kids yesterday. One was drinking battery acid. The other one was eating fireworks. They charged one and let the other one off.
That's kind of funny. That one's better. But whatever made up jokes or whatever like that, I'm not too much into them. But that last one was kind of funny. A little bit more clever than those first 2 you told me. Is there you on like a website that has jokes or something like that?
It is. These are all jokes by Tommy Cooper. Ever heard of Tommy Cooper?
No, I haven't. Is he? I'm guessing he's a comedian.
He's a very famous television celebrity who is now dead, unfortunately.
Oh fuck! Hold on, I gotta turn that fan off because it's getting kind of cold in here. And you know what I'm realizing? Miraculously enough, in 3 hours, neither one of us has been to the restroom. That's kind of hard to believe.
Amazing.
It really is. Check this out.
What?
Hold on.
What am I checking out? You're wearing a hat.
Yeah, well, I guess you could call it a hat.
Where did you get that from?
In Peru.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And because of
Is it
Go ahead.
for robbing banks?
I don't know what it's for. It definitely, hides your identity. I've got two of them. I've got one that looks like the devil. I mean, this one obviously looks like the devil too, but the other one I've got is just red and black. You can see this one has more colors than just red and black. And somebody might, or here in the United States, might think that if they saw those colors, that it was like gay pride or something like that, but it's not. There's a state in Peru where their flag is basically, I don't know if the colors are in the same order, but it's basically the gay flag that we have here in or I guess worldwide or in the United States, wherever they have that gay flag. They've got a state in Peru that's their exact flag.
I see.
And so that's what this mask represents, is that I bought it in that state, so.
I've sent you a link.
Oh yeah?
You can watch it later. The Best of Tommy Cooper on YouTube.
How did he die?
Stop breathing.
That sucked. Yeah, that's one way to do it. So he probably was he old or something like that?
Yeah, fairly old, I guess.
His name is Tommy Cooper?
Tommy Cooper.
Huh. Fascinating. Yeah.
And I put his jokes underneath.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I see. It's the guy with that red fez?
That's right.
I'll check that out.
He was a comedian and magician.
Oh, like a stage magician?
Yeah.
Or an illusionist or whatever?
He was a comedy magician.
Oh, that's fascinating. I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Yeah. He gets all of his magic tricks go wrong.
Oh, that's funny. Or like you see the wire. Yeah, that's funny.
He was famous for doing his magic, because every time he does a magic trick, it goes wrong.
That's funny. I like that.
Yeah, he'll bring a table out and the legs will fall off.
That's fucked up. That is funny. But
So he's a bit of a clown.
Yeah. So those jokes that you were just reading, they were from him?
They're all Tommy Cooper jokes.
Oh. Yeah, better put these glasses. So they're pretty old jokes, or they're at least, how long ago did Tommy Cooper die?
How about this Tommy Cooper joke? He says, "So I went up into the attic and I found a Stradivarius and a Rembrandt. Unfortunately, Stradivarius was a terrible painter and Rembrandt made lousy violins."
I don't think that's funny. What's so funny about that?
Well, he found a Stradivarius and a Rembrandt.
Yeah.
But Stradivarius was a terrible painter.
Yeah.
And Rembrandt made lousy violins.
Yeah, he just switched them around. I mean, what's so funny about that?
Well, it's satirical, isn't it?
Well, it's just kind of yeah. I guess it is satirical. But like I said, I'm not mentioning for the, I mean, I like stuff that's funny, but more like spontaneous, cleverness or something like that.
Well, that's clever.
I don't think it is.
Because normally you'd normally think he was going to say a Stradivarius violin, but not a Stradivarius painting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know why that That does, you know. But then again, I'm not a fan of comedy. You know, I don't go to comedy clubs. I don't watch comedy movies.
Well, how about this one then? So I went to the doctor's. He said, "What appears to be the problem?" I said, "I keep having the same dream, night after night. Beautiful girls rushing towards me, and I keep pushing them away." He said, "How can I help?" I said, "Break my arms."
Yeah, I thought he meant like I was going to laugh because I thought he said, "How can I help?" In other words, how can I help you with these fucking badass chicks? But I don't know. I know I can't really explain it, but I don't know why. You know, some people just don't. Some people can appreciate humor, but just don't like pre-made jokes or whatever.
Yeah, it was funny when I went to the doctor a few days ago because I went to the doctor's and she said, "I'd like you to lie on the couch." And I said, "What for?" She said, "I'd like to sweep the floor."
Oh. Huh. Oh, yeah. So you're not on the floor because you're laying on the couch?
No, she said, "I'd like you to lie on the couch." I said, "What for?" She said, "I'd like to sweep the floor."
Okay, explain that one to me.
Think about it. The doctor said, "I'd like you to lie on the couch." I said, "But what for?" She said, "Because I'd like to sweep the floor." She couldn't sweep the floor. She couldn't sweep the floor while I was standing it, so she asked me to lie on the couch.
Yeah, but what's funny about that? I don't know. I mean, I just don't. Yeah, no, I got that. That's what I was thinking at first. I was like, "That's what you meant."
Well, I was like, I think it's funny.
Oh, I don't think that's funny. I did like that one joke you told, but I don't think that's funny.
Okay. So a man walks into greengrocers and says, "I want £5 of potatoes, please." And the greengrocer says, "We only sell kilos." So the man says, "Okay, all right then. I'll have £5 of kilos."
Yeah.
It sounds better when Tommy Cooper tells them.
It probably does.
He's got the great way of delivering a joke.
Oh yeah, delivery's everything. Like with many all the performance arts, really. I mean, fucking deliveries. Everything.
That's why they're called Tommy Cooper jokes.
And I'm not, putting down your delivery. I'm just saying, not everybody likes.
Not everybody's Tommy Cooper.
Well, and not everybody likes jokes. I don't think it's guaranteed that I would laugh at Tommy Cooper's. I don't know. I'll watch the link that you sent. Is that like a live comedy act he was doing?
It's a live Tommy Cooper act he's doing. Yes, it is. I think you'll like him. He's a very funny man.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure. I got the new.
What is it? Tuesday today. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. Ciscoidoscopy.
Oh, I know it. Yeah, that sucks.
I mean, swallowing that thing was bad enough, but having that thing put up the end of my penis, they've got to be having a laugh. It's huge.
I know. I mean, you'd think they would give you some sedatives or something like that.
When I swallowed it, I had a nurse rubbing my ears and stroking my neck. I wonder if she'll be. If she's rubbing my ears and stroking my neck, I'll have an erection.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. Yeah, or what if it's a male nurse? That's funny. That should get a laugh from you.
Yeah, if I get an erection, they'll whack it on the end with a rubber mallet.
Why do you say that? Is that really what they do?
That's how they get rid of the erection.
Are you serious? I never heard that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they're just thinking about that.
No, it's not true. Actually, they use a large wooden spoon.
Like just to beat it out of you.
Whack it. They just beat the end with a large wooden spoon. And they say, "You naughty boy."
Yeah.
There'll be none of that.
Right, yeah. You can't eat your meat until you've had your pudding. How can you eat your pudding if you hadn't had your meat?
They say, "We're going to beat your meat."
Yeah. They're going to beat, yeah. Sounds like it.
Yes. I have to take my box with me because it might be bruised after.
Yeah, right. Your box. Why would you take your box?
Cricket box. Do you know what I mean? You know what a cricket box is?
No, what is it?
It protects your penis from the cricket ball.
Oh, yeah, it's like a cup or something.
Yes.
Yeah, you better take that, yeah. God dang. They fill your penis or they fill your bladder with water so they can see it more easily. Oh God, that sounds pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Hold on, hey. Oh, not much. I'm just Keith. I got to take this call.
Okay. Do you want to turn off the sound? You're ending the call, are you? Like